The Two Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of The Two Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. Good evening. Hello, Big Ace. Hello, everybody that's out there. I just ran it. I'm so excited. We have a fantastic guest with us tonight, and I didn't want to screw around with, that long intro thing that we normally do. So
you just said you were gonna do it though, so I was like doing other stuff. So it wasn't live. I was like, what?
Yeah, I can't help it. You know how it is. Hey, I do want to just do
Make up your mind, old man.
Yeah, you know how it is. I just want to do a couple housekeeping things. If you and I'll mention this as we go along. If you haven't gotten one of our fantastic 2-count magnets yet, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and send me your email. Send me an email with your mailing address, and I'll send it out to you. We appreciate that very much. I got a whole pile of them in again. I had to reorder them, so that's good. 51 subscribers as of right now. That's pretty good. We got over whatever the amount is. Anyway, point being, holy cow, did we have a wild week this week in wrestling? We'll talk a little bit about that, but I don't want to delay this any further, because I'm very, very excited. The fact is that we've got one of the mainstays of IPW wrestling and also one half of the IPW Tag Team Champions with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big warm welcome for Justin Decent. Oops. There, that's what I want to do. I didn't want to push the wrong button. But there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
There I am.
Justin Decent. My gosh.
How you doing?
Awesome. It's so great to see you. Was fantastic to watch you at the show on Saturday. Defend your championships with Ethan Everhart against those two rat bastards, Matty Star and Sparrow. Those guys kind of are trying to start some stuff down there, aren't they?
That's their milieu. That's what they do every day of the week.
It's unbelievable.
Twice on Sundays.
It's unbelievable. It's so awesome to have you with us, and we really, really appreciate you taking the time to come on with us this evening. So first and foremost, how long have you been a professional wrestler, Justin?
I have been an active professional wrestler for 15 years, and prior to that, I was the follow-around guy for probably another 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Where, I ran sound, I did security, I sold tickets, I sold nachos, I carried the ring, I did whatever I had to do to be around it. Caused a few problems. Was supposed to start training in 99, got 13 speeding tickets in 3 months. My tuition money went out the window, so I had to wait a little bit.
Yikes! That's I happen to know what that's called. Because I lived in the state of Iowa, and I was branded what they call a habitual violator.
That's the one.
So it was 13 in 2 months?
2.5, 3. I mean, don't make it worse than it is. Now there were 3 in the same day.
Oh my God!
Nice. Wait, so did they know that though?
Pulled over leaving work. Pulled over before I got home after work.
Oh no! Did the police know? Were they like, really? This is the third one today?
They had to know.
Oh my God!
Was this pre-cameras? Like, that's what gets me as an out-of-stater, man. Those things nail me every time.
Oh yeah, this would have been 99. I don't think Des Moines had cameras at the time.
Oh my God! So did you even try any excuses?
I've never been an excuse guy when it comes to that. I own it. The minute I get pulled, do you know why I pulled you over, sir? I was going entirely too fast.
Sometimes they like honesty and let you off, don't they? But not that time.
Sometimes.
Not that time.
Since we're on the topic of me getting pulled over, I got to share this one. This is one of my favorites. It was right before I was actually on my way to my first match. And those of you who don't know, when I initially started, I had a very attractive manager. who escorted me to the ring. Her name was Susie. She may have been inflatable. So for like 4.5 years, I had an inflatable doll as my valet. And so the night before, the young lady who is now my wife spent like an hour putting tiny little ponytails in my hair. I just started to grow it out. I was fresh out of the Army. So I had like 60 ponytails about yay long, poking out in every direction. I got a blow-up doll strapped in the passenger seat, fully inflated, because I learned if you roll the window down about that far, the wind catches and the arm does this, and people drive by. Hey, what the hell? I'm cruising down I-35, and I'm booking it. I'm probably going with 85, and cop pulls me over, comes up to the window. All right, son, license it. What the fuck? Why do you sit here? Goes back to his car. Doesn't even grab my information yet. Goes back to the car, sits for like 5 minutes. Comes back. License and registration. Here you go. That is where I think it is, right? Yes, sir. Yep. I don't want to ask, but I have to ask. Son, why do you got a fuck doll riding shotgun? You know, and I was very forthcoming. I'm a professional wrestler. This is my valet. She's very talented. She's the love of my life. Luckily, at this time, like I've been out of the Army maybe 6-8 months, and I've got my military ID sitting right underneath my driver's license. So when I hand it over, you know, of course he sees it. I'm pretty sure that dude just figured I lost my damn mind when I was overseas. He just goes, slow it down. And I guarantee you, none of the boys at the station are going to fucking believe this.
Should have offered him a picture of you and your valet.
Right? Hey, she'll do whatever it takes, officer, to get me out of this ticket.
The only way that would have been better is if he walked up and when he saw it, he was like, I have that same one. To make it even weirder.
Oh.
Hello, Tina, Ellie. How are you guys? Welcome.
So, so just so you know, Justin,
I didn't know you were in the Army at all, Justin.
6
Did you
years.
go like right at 18?
Yep, that's part of the reason my training took so long to get back to is I armied it up and did a couple years in the National Guard, a couple years active duty, spent a year in Iraq. You know, government sent me on this great vacation. They promised me sun and sand, and I didn't read the fine print where it said nothing about the water.
oh man. So did anything get hairy while you were serving, or?
Oh no, I shaved.
Excellent.
You'd have to in that heat.
Oh my gosh. So you were in service for 6 years.
Yep.
And you come back and do you hop right into wrestling again, or like you said, you're a follow around guy, or?
Instantly. So growing up, my best friend growing up, him and his 2 older brothers have become pro wrestlers. That's part of the reason I missed my opportunity. So his older brother found TS Aggressor, Travis Shillington, was one of his first students. Oh, wow. And he told us, because we were in high school, like, hey, you guys graduate, I'll get you in. All right. So then we get our opportunity, and I've got money, my buddy doesn't. He goes, oh, you have to wait, man. This is our dream growing up together. We got to do this at the same time. Like, all right, cool. No problem. I'll wait. I shouldn't have. Uncle Sam got all my money. The fine law enforcement officers of the state of Iowa. And then, sure enough, he doesn't wait for me. His brothers go, oh, we'll tell you what. We'll cover your tuition as long as we pick your first gimmick. And lo and behold, he did not wait for me. So they gave him Giggles the Clown right out the gate.
Oh, my.
First little while he was wrestling.
So is he still wrestling now?
No. He was at our 20th anniversary show. Chance
okay.
Cordova.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yep. I'll peel back the curtain just a little bit. Chance Cordova and Vin Cross, who were the tag team, the Second Coming brothers. And then Big Dog Barber is also their brother.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Very cool.
I grew up with all three of those guys. Big Dog Barber was legitimately my barber. It's the reason I grow my hair out. I got tired of getting punched and chopped every time I sat in the barber chair.
Oh my God. So Justin, do you live in Des Moines or?
I live in Ames, just north of Des Moines.
Yep. And you grow? Do you guys all grow up in Ames?
No, actually, we grew up down in Osceola.
Oh, yeah, down there by the border.
Yep.
Beautiful. When I was young, we always had to go through Osceola when we went down to Missouri to get our illegal fireworks.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we were always
30 minutes from the border. We had fireworks all the time.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So let me ask you this. When you're a young kid, obviously you take a shine to pro wrestling, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Who now without giving away your age, and I don't know if you want to or it doesn't make any difference, but
I don't care.
were the territories still going when you were young, or they had all pretty much disappeared?
A little bit, but you were really transitioning into that WWF phase. I was born in 80, 40 years old, so I was catching like the tail end and into that transitional phase. Macho Man, that was my guy right there.
Very good.
Yeah, you and I came in around the same time. I was born in 82, so it was about 85 when I started like having a memory of watching that.
Though I do have a special place in my heart for Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Fun story. So my dad owned a country kitchen right off I-80 for like 4 years, from like 8 to 12. And I can't remember the year specifically, but they had done a show in Des Moines and were cruising somewhere along I-80 to get to their next show. And my dad, not a wrestling fan. He occasionally comes to a show just to bust my balls about it. So it's late, I was that kid, pulling up the milk crate to do the dishes, bussing tables, working late night at the restaurant before going to school the next day. And he had the buffet up, and these 4 guys come walking in, and I just, what the hell is wrong with you? It's those are wrestlers, Dad. Okay. So they come in, it's late, they're like, hey, we know you're probably shutting down, probably getting ready to shut down your buffet. We just happen to see the lights were still on. We see the buffet. If you let us come in and just eat what's sitting out there, we don't need anything fresh, just whatever's there. We'll be out of your hair real quick. We'll give you a little something extra. He looks at me, eyes yay big. Tell you what, you guys sign a placemat for my kid here. Not only will we keep the buffet stocked, we'll fire up everything, we'll make you fresh everything, and we'll go until you guys feel like leaving all night. Plus, only country kitchen in the state that had a bar because it had previously been an Elks Lodge.
Oh my God.
So he's like, I'll open up the bar, I'll feed you drinks all night. We'll do you one better. Why don't you have him sit and have dinner with us? So I had dinner when I was like 8 to 10 years old. Roddy Piper, Junkyard Dog, Hercules. And that was the moment I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. And that's why to this day I still have like a really close connection with the fans. Like, to me, that's what's important.
That's one of the things that's very noticeable for folks that if you haven't been to an IPW show, you want to go, first of all. But that's one of the things that always impresses me is because they have intermissions in the shows. And you're one of the first guys that's out there to go around and glad hand all the fans and take care of everybody that paid their money to come and see a good show, and you make them feel very, very welcome. And I'm absolutely impressed by that.
Dude, without the fans, we're a bunch of weirdos in tights touching each other in public. Let's call it what it is. I mean, I'm not opposed to those activities. Private, public, it doesn't matter. but they do make it special.
I saw one little girl, and I didn't because when we get down there and we're trying to do the recording and stuff, it's like I don't have an opportunity to pay attention to everything else that's going on the other side of the room. But one of the little girls that was in front of our broadcast area came back, and she's got a doll, and that's a Justin Decent doll. Holy crap, dude. You've got...
Yes, it is.
That's the genius merch. When did you come up with...
Everybody has T-shirts, so we're midst of COVID, and I'm like, okay, I've never been great at having merch. And then I was like, man, I got to do something. I mean, I got to stay relevant. It's been a year plus, so I'm playing around online because I have a couple old school wrestling buddies.
Yeah.
A couple of Macho Man wrestling buddies. And I'm like, God, how cool would it be if I could get something like that? And I found a company online that makes them. And now I've noticed a couple other guys have had them since then. But, yeah, I mean, I love it.
Oh, it's just genius. And the thing about it is, even for an old salty jackass like me, when I see a little kid carrying around, just loving it, I mean, it's like it just puts a smile on my face the entire time. I mean, literally, it's one of the smartest things I've ever seen anybody sell.
And you know what? That girl, I love her to death. She's been coming to shows since before she could talk, before she could walk. She grew up in our audience. So.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's great. Because we saw her there, and she was just loving the show, loving life that night. And so like 2 nights before Thursday night, we were in St. Paul. Sorry, we were in St. Paul, Minnesota, for a first wrestling show. And in front of us at that show was this little girl, and she dyed her hair blue. I cannot remember her name right now. I think it's Billy Starks, I think is her name, out of the Midwest. So she had her hair dyed blue in the pigtails like Billy does, and all night would go up to the entrance and like literally like she was getting pops towards the end of the show. Like anytime like I think Cole Cabana gave her a high five, and the whole crowd was like, "Yeah, you deserve it!" Like for the little girl, like it was awesome. Those are those moments that just make those shows so much more fun and special, and that's. Man, especially now getting back to it when you guys have a year of nothing and just kind of you and the crew doing it.
Because we did the Facebook Live stuff. I mean, it was a year and a half of, okay, we're cheering for each other in our school. I mean, that's where our shows are. So, yeah, it'd be having a real live audience that you can feed off of and see genuine reactions, really kind of made it worthwhile all over again.
Nice. So you mentioned that like so Piper and those guys at like early 80s, mid 80s is kind of where you probably got into it. What are some of those moments that you look back of being a wrestling fan then, Justin, that you're like obviously meeting them that was like, okay, I'm doing this with my life. But when you look back, what are some of those moments that they're just always going to make an impression on you personally being a fan, and then as well as how do those things like kind of shape you in the way your career ended up going?
I always loved the spectacle of the Macho Man. Like the wedding with Elizabeth always stands out in my mind. Hopefully none of my family is watching and they're going to call me out on this, but like on Sundays, my parents got divorced when I was young, so every other weekend I was with my mother and her family. And then the other weekends I was with my dad and his family. So when I went to my mom's weekends, my grandparents were all devout Catholics. We got up early, went to sunrise mass, and then we went out to Aunt Betty and Uncle Jimmy's farm and had Sunday dinner. And Uncle Jimmy had just stacks upon stacks upon stacks of wrestling magazines.
Nice.
I may have stolen the issue with the match made in heaven. With that wedding, he won't notice this missing.
Right.
To this day, I keep going back and forth. I'm actually like ordained, and I've done a dozen weddings, and I really want to get that set of Macho Man attire and start officiating weddings in his wedding attire, just if for no other reason than to light up my own heart.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you have to do this because I'll tell you a story. So WrestleMania 28, right? Miami, once in a lifetime, Rock and Cena, which was a lie because we had to sit through it next year. So we're down there, right? So now previously in Phoenix, when I was down at WrestleMania, I met these guys, overseas guys, United Kingdom guys, at the after party at this bar by the stadium, and end up becoming friends with all these people, like chumming up, getting just drunk all night. I don't even remember going home that night from Phoenix. That was a really crazy night. And then, but like we just kept in contact. Facebook was a thing then. So it was like, okay, now we're friends. And so when we went to 28, a few of them put together this big party bus, right? And we were going to go around that for like 3 hours before we go to the stadium. Well, there's a bunch of people on there that I didn't know. And then the guys that I knew. Well, we randomly stop at some park, right? And we all get off, and they all do the cosplay. So everybody's dressed up. I'm just in like a WrestleMania t-shirt because I don't usually do that, but they're all like dressed up and whatever. And we go to this park, and we're like, "What's going on?" Oh, yeah, the two that were in back are getting married. And the guy was dressed as CM Punk. Shout out Adam Daly. He's been on this show before.
Oh,
a good
yeah.
friend of mine. We became very good friends from that day on. And the wife at the time was dressed as AJ, or no, she was dressed as Layla. And so we show up at this park, and there's like a group of like 40 of us there. And some dude rolls up, and he's dressed as like the worst looking, like, it was like the worst knockoff of Jay Lethal trying to be Macho Man. He was machismo or whatever. Just this dude, like, kind of a scrawny black dude, but then he had like the big, like, fake muscled padded yellow shirt. He had like the hair and the hat, and he's all like, and he's doing, oh yeah. And it was just like, but it was such a, like, people around this park were like literally just stopped in their tracks to be like, what is this? Because then there's like 20 other people. Like the guy who put it all together literally was doing Razor Ramon the whole day. He made us. He had the IC title. He grew his hair out and dyed it. He had like a box of toothpicks, and literally was talking in Razor's voice the entire day. I mean, it was just. So you have to do this because there are wrestling fans that would be like, I will have you do my wedding if you can do this, and actually,
Absolutely,
be a pretty good Macho Man impersonator would be nice.
I'm all for it.
Oh man,
I will do anybody's wedding if they allow me to do it as Macho Man. I went through a phase for years when I was first wrestling where the minute the show was over, I was Macho Man until the bar was closed. And every Sunday, this is all the voice that I had left. Which is also what happens every summer when we run 28 shows in 12 days. And I'm, oh, yeah, awesome. Let's go.
Right. Not to like jump on a bunch of different subjects because we will throughout this show. But like you mentioned, you guys in IPW have probably one of the most ridiculous summer schedules. You guys are going nonstop in Iowa, literally all summer.
Yep. It's 2 to 3 weeks straight, maybe 4, and it's every day. You might get a day off, and that's about it. And it's wild. I mean, for small indie guys, for guys getting started, it's a real wake-up call to, hey, is this really what you want to do for a living? Or is it something you want to do for fun? Because, I mean, I distinctly remember 2016 because I was carrying our heavyweight title at the time. I wrestled 29 times in 12 days. I had diverticulitis. I was shitting blood before a cage match at Waterloo with James Jeffries. And I'm like, this is the life. Guys are calling my wife, Justin might die.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, it's legitimately, you might wrestle anywhere from 20 to 30 times in 2 to 3 weeks.
And what's crazy is while you put that schedule together, like right smack in the middle of it is like one of the biggest shows of the year for you guys as well in Waterloo for the Hall of Fame weekend.
Yep.
It's just insane that month of just weeks you guys got to do.
Yeah, well, and this year we're lucky, like that kind of kicks it off, which is nice. In other years, that's been like the end to it. So you're going into that weekend 3 straight weeks of wrestling 3 times a day in the sun at a county fair with no shade, 110 degrees. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring my A game for this.
Oh my god! So do you the number of outdoor shows versus indoor shows? First, is it like half and half or more than
Not
that?
even close. It is July is majority outdoor shows.
Oh my god! So I mean, obviously it's hot and all that. I know as a comic, I hate working outside. But the reason is because the sound when we're doing our stuff, the feedback from the audience, you can't tell what the hell's going on. I assume it's probably a little bit different audience-wise from the outside. It's the same deal where you can't quite hear the reaction like you would hear it inside.
It depends on the show. There are some where they're right up against the ring almost, and it's not a lot different than an indoor show. But then there are other shows where maybe they're seated in the grandstands and you're down on like a dirt track, and you're trying to yell stuff, and they can't hear you, but you're doing it anyway because it's just how you do things.
Unbelievable.
It's a crazy variety. Like no 2 shows are the same.
So
we'll have a night show maybe at 7:00, but then there are other days we'll have, hey, we're gonna do 1, 3, and 5 matinee style shows.
Oh wow.
So do you get pretty sunburned doing some of those?
Yes.
mean,
I'm lucky. Like I burn once really, really good every year, and then I just tan. But there are a lot of people who are pretty much just burnt and miserable the whole time.
I can't imagine getting sunburned and having somebody give you a chop.
There are very few things worse than that.
I mean, that's it. The only thing that I think of that would be worse would be if somebody used a staple gun on your nutsack.
I'd still almost take the slap.
I think I would.
Don't kink shame me. Don't kink shame me. Not this era.
Well, I didn't think we were going to be in trouble with it.
So let me ask you this, because obviously you got quick chops. You're always an entertaining person. Even like when me and you were just sitting there after the show was done, for a few minutes, we're just shooting the shit and we were laughing. You know what I mean? Like you're just a fun person to be around. So like, how does that like translate over to wrestling? Because just hearing you talk, riff, and tell stories, it's like you could easily go on stage and do stand up like JR. Is that something you ever done, by the way, or thought about?
I've never actually tried stand up at all. I mean, I've done theater. I mean, the way I am right now is the way I am 24/7. I mean, it irritates the hell out of my wife sometimes. But, we go to a family function. I'm no different than I am right now. I think it helps. I mean, I'm comfortable making a fool out of myself, so I have no problems putting on tights and playing the fool. I've thought about it, but I don't know that I don't do anything preset, pre-programmed. I don't write out my promos ahead of time. Like a lot of guys do. Maybe they want to practice them. I am 100% off the cuff, so I don't know how I would put together a stand-up set. I almost need, okay, say something, sir. All right, now we're going.
Yeah, you're more a crowd work guy.
Yeah. It's the family. Like my mom's side of the family is. My mom's the youngest of 11.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yep.
They are all super Catholic as well. So they all had hundreds of kids. So I have like
Clearly
70 plus first cousins.
Oh, my God.
And you get us together, and there's the closest thing we have to family drama is who can tell the better joke. So it's like 80 of me running around trying to top each other.
Holy cow. But the good news is, you get the whole audience there when you want to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I love about wrestling. A lot of guys are like, oh, I get nervous in front of the crowd. Nope. Bring the crowd. I want them to yell at me. I want them to say something. Give me something to feed off of. Like when I was, when I was less liked, you know, when I was more nefarious and rule breaking. Like, I loved the audience interactions. I begged for it. Please call me a name.
Right. Right.
That's one of I was going to say that's one of my favorite things to see is when a young child says something to one of those less than ethical wrestlers, and he lifts his hand as if to backhand him. That's always one of my favorite moves because the child knows nothing's going to happen, yet the action is just, to me, it's art.
I've yelled at audiences to tell them they don't beat their children enough. I've threatened to beat children with other children.
Oh my God.
I've also told a kid, you are the reason your parents drink at night.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, one of my favorites that somebody reminded me of just this last week. Hey, one of the first shows I went to, it was some kid's birthday, and you got on the mic and said, hey, congratulations for celebrating the day you ruined your parents' life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Your parents don't love you. Happy birthday.
That's beautiful.
What was your first? Because again, you're pretty electric. You can work a room. So like, what was that very first match like in front of an audience? You know, your first time you're in a ring. You're about to do like your first match. There's a crowd there. What's that like going through your head then?
I work at the school a lot, so like I'm dealing with guys and gals having their first matches and seeing how nervous they are. There was never a second that I was at all nervous. Like, I got my stuff on, I'm like, let's fucking get me out there. I am ready. I've got blow-up doll in hand. I'm working a guy who dressed like a pimp. Like, this is going to be golden. Oh,
I was
ecstatic.
It sounds to me like, because they're in comedy, there's certain people that are just like naturals, right? And you seem to me like you're one of those people that's just, you just naturally took to this and never looked back.
No, yeah, actually, wholeheartedly. First day of training, like, when you're training new professional wrestlers and they're in there for the first time, they get so caught up in, ooh, am I stepping the right direction? Am I grabbing this the right way? Am I doing this correct? You have to encourage, like, hey, have some fucking fun with this, you know, make some noise, like, look like you're doing something you want to be doing. I was loud, boisterous, and over the top the second I walked in the door the first time. I train that way. I wrestle that way on shows. Like, I've never turned it off. It was on before I walked in the door. Just part of who I am, I guess.
Pardon me. Yeah. So we have these lulls every once in a while because my mother will text me. Not that she's watching. She just wants to know, you know, like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing tomorrow? She'll text me and I'm like, I don't know, Mom. It's not tomorrow yet. You know, it's my mom's going to be 83 this year, Justin, and I swear to God, I wish my sisters never would have bought her a cell phone. It's better though than when they taught her email, because every day, literally, I would get something from her that had nothing in the body of it and no title. It would just be Mary Russell and nothing else. And I would think, well, at least she was thinking of me, I guess. You know, and then they give her the phone, and now she knows how to text and send all the damn emojis, and it's like, you know, oh, unicorn. I'm like, what? Isn't one enough, Mom? One's enough, and you don't even know what it is.
Know all of the emojis and their meaning. You know, or does she tell you she's really excited for eggplant parmesan?
I was gonna say that she just starts sending eggplants over.
Mom, you're a little bit old for that. Well, maybe not. But no, yeah, she doesn't know what they are and she can't see them. It's like, I gotta get it up there, and it's like, oh, I sent him a ham sandwich. That's not what that is, Mom. That's not what that is. Anyway, oh my gosh, it's
Hey, but she fed you well this weekend. So
you know what she did? She did. I mean, it was. I was telling Ace, I'm like, I get to go down right when we do this and stay at her house, and she sends me texts. What kind of meat do you like? I don't know why. A hamburger, salmon. Give me some that. What kind of vegetables? Carrots, celery. I don't care. Just what kind of fruit do you want? Strawberries, cantaloupe. I'll get it all. And I get there and it's like, Mom, I'm only gonna be here 2 days. It's like, I mean, don't you want me to live longer? Don't just keep loading up on food. Anyway, so how long is it before you get to the point where the promotion says, this is a guy that we could really make something out of? Was it pretty quick?
Trying to think. Yeah, probably within I was a tag champ with Ugly probably within a year or two. I spent most of my time wrestling in tags, actually. So that was a lot of it.
Why do you think that is? Is it and the only reason I'm asking is because I don't know. Did they put you in a tag situation because it's better to work with another guy, or you can help carry some guys that maybe aren't as vocal as you are?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say it's the second one.
Yeah,
because Ugly is fantastic now, but I do remember when he first started he struggled with a little bit with trying to find a personality that really worked for him. And then I partnered with Aaron Von Baron for a while, and he was a guy who, fantastic in the ring, but just struggled sometimes with the vocal parts.
Yeah.
And, I think that was the intention with Ethan, but, then during COVID, he just it clicked for him, and he's like, oh, wait, look at this thing I have. I'm like, you're fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's just it. I've lucked out. Like, I think the intention had always been like, hey, we're going to put him with these people who need a little help, but then they turn out to be extraordinary, and that's been a blessing, I mean, I was tag champs with Ugly for 4.5, almost 5 years probably, and a vast majority of that time as champions, and we just clicked, Same with Aaron Von Baron. We were together for a couple years, and it just clicked. So I've lucked out. I never had that struggle where I'm with this guy. Okay, I guess we'll do our thing, but you do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing.
Well, you kind of seem to me like the kind of guy that would, regardless of who it is, unless there was a huge problem, you seem like the kind of guy that would bring somebody under your wing, and because you have that real good socialization. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, hey, let's do this. Whereas you just don't seem like a guy who would say, yeah, go sit in the corner and leave me alone. No,
I'm not. I'm the guy who finds the guy sitting in the corner and said, hey, what's up? Come over here.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So how does it go then to where eventually you start training others?
I always have kind of been helping out in that sense. I remember when I started training, TS Aggressor did the training, but there were guys who would show up, who'd kind of pitch in, lend a hand here and there, and then I kind of transitioned into that guy. Some people, they start having shows, they're like, okay, I don't have to train anymore, and they kind of go off and just wrestle. I was one of those guys who, hey, if there's not a show that I'm on that takes me away from being here, I'm going to be here and keep getting better at what I do. And if there's any way I can help somebody else get better, then even better. I was probably only 2 years in and like helping out. I wouldn't say I was running training by any means, but I was definitely helping out. And then the conversation had come up for quite a while about maybe having a more active role in training. But at the time, our school was in Algona, which is a little ways from me, and it was hard to dedicate that time all the time. Well, then when the conversation started being, hey, we're moving closer to your area. Would you like a day? I dove head first, absolutely. So it started out, James and I worked together with the first couple batches of guys, and now we kind of have this split system where he does a lot of the really good training. He puts them through our initial program, and then when they kind of graduate, then they come to my Sundays, and we work on, okay, now how do you become a character? How do you put all this together that you've been taught and make it make sense, and make them more comfortable with wrestling beyond just, hey, here's this armbar, here's this single leg takedown. Okay, now how do you make it you? How do you be a wrestler instead of just know how to wrestle?
Right.
So
go ahead.
I was going to ask, because obviously you get numerous personalities that come for training. How do you deal with somebody who absolutely loves wrestling and absolutely has no talent for it? You know what I mean? It's like they so badly want to do it, and they just don't have either the physicality or the mental fortitude to do it. You know what I'm saying?
They start a podcast.
Those are hard.
That's what they do.
That's tough, because I'd like to think I'm a nice guy, and it's really hard to have a conversation with somebody and go, hey, your dream might not be for you.
Yeah.
It's rough. I mean, really, the thing is, I think, is you need to find. I've never had anybody come along that I've just said, nope, there's the door.
Yeah.
It's okay. Can we find some element of this extravaganza that is pro wrestling where you can flourish a little bit? Maybe you're better suited as a ref or a manager or something, but there has to be some way we can find a way to make you fit this world. And it is challenging sometimes, not everybody. Because the problem is, pro wrestling being what it is, a lot of people go, oh, well, I can do that. And no, there's a lot more to this animal than anybody ever considers, both physically, mentally, emotionally. So it isn't for everybody. And just because you've watched it on TV doesn't mean you're going to be good at it. But I do think there is a place for everybody who truly loves it. The hard part is finding that place.
Definitely.
And that's gotta be. I mean, it's so you and management all together kind of try to figure that out, or.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty part of the day that I run the school is kind of what that's for, is to kind of figure that out, and then we also have open gym for guys who have been wrestling a while, come out, try new stuff. It kind of becomes a free for all by the end of the day, but it's kind of a holding pattern, Yeah. Some people, they do their initial training with James and you're like, just go get booked, do your thing. Then there are others like, hey, we got to polish you up a bit. And it might take a few months. It might take a couple years. Everybody's learning curve is a little different, but I have a hard time telling anybody that there's zero place for you at all.
Right.
Yeah, there's something. You need ring announcers. You need referees.
Yeah.
Keepers.
Here, hold this camera.
Exactly.
I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. I've done nothing but podcast for it until just these last two shows you guys have done where I've somehow stumbled into doing some commentary for you guys. And I couldn't be happier just sitting on a microphone and being like, I feel like I'm part of it now. Yeah, like I don't need to be in the ring.
So initially, I thought my computer was going to hold up on this, and that it didn't. So it's old, it's terrible. I'm using my phone. It's about to die. I'm going to grab a cord, but I'm not.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting though that he mentions that, which is very very similar in comedy at the open mics, right?
Oh,
I mean, because you've gone and there's people that they want to do it so badly, and there's just, I mean, unfortunately with comedy, hey Rowdy, I mean, by the way, let's take a moment and say hi to everybody in chat. Danny's there. Hope the wedding went great, Dan. Hope you had a great weekend out there. I was just
going to say, congratulations, Dan. I saw your post. I saw the photos and the video. It looked wonderful. It looked like a lot of fun, man. Did you see it, JR? Like, legit, it was like a kiss wedding. It was great.
I know. It was, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, Dan, are you back home now, though? Let me know. If you're home, I'm going to send this thing this week here. I'll get down there tomorrow and send that out to you. I was waiting for you to get back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right, cool, Dan. I'm going to get that sent out tomorrow.
By the way, we've got another trivia show scheduled for the 25th of June, Friday night, the 25th. So bone up on your wrestling. We'll have to come up with some more questions. And
I was kind of thinking that we'd maybe this next time, let's maybe pick like a category in like wrestling. Like maybe we'll do like Attitude Era or Bobby the Brain Heenan trivia or
that'd be
trivia.
fun.
You know what I mean? Like let's switch it up, because then it's just not random general wrestling questions then you guys maybe even know too if we can like if we know we're doing trivia about The Rock on the next one, you guys will know in a couple weeks in advance. So y'all can study up on your Rock stuff.
Well,
wrestlers who have done adult videos trivia.
Let's see. What are there a handful of those?
What is the top video on Brazzers?
I mean, are you talking? Did they all have to be professional, or could they be amateur jobs? I don't know. I'm assuming.
Are you only fanning it right now?
I mean, this is linked to my OnlyFans right now.
Hell yeah!
I appreciate you guys contributing to my content.
We're making him money as
I feel
we
like
speak.
I need to take my shirt off maybe now. I don't know.
No, you can keep it on.
Yeah. Anyways, Dan, congrats. I'm gonna get that sent to you. And then and we got Zach Takis there hanging out with us. So hello, guys. And Zach says, "Yay, Justin's back."
So, yeah. Well, Zach, you were here last week. You know how it works. So.
And thanks for the subscribe, Dan. We appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate it a lot. And by the way, for those of you who are just looking in, if you're interested in wrestling, please give us a follow. That doesn't cost anything. You'll always know when we do a show. We try to get guests on every week now as we're going along. And if you subscribe, it's not very much, but if you do, we can send you out one of these lovely 2-count magnets for your. It's a little thank you. It's not a doll like Justin has, but it's.
We're gonna have to get how many more of those do you have?
The weirdest part about trying to get my magnet and subscription thing figured out was when you needed like my pet's name, my mom's maiden name, and my social security number.
Yeah, well, in the last 3 of your social, yeah, just the last 3.
Yeah,
and bank account.
We just like to keep up on our demographics.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
We're building something here, on the backs of other people. Anyway,
that's my entire career.
We'll have to bring a bunch of those magnets to the Hall of Fame weekend, JR.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had 50 more come in, and so we got 50 more. We blew through the first bunch pretty quick, so. So let me ask you this: you're doing the training here with IPW, but over the course of 15 years, have you pretty much just stayed with IPW? Have you tried to branch out? Have you done things in other places, or do you even have any desire to?
I've wrestled around to a couple other promotions here and there. I have been probably 90+% IPW. Um, it, it's home. It makes me happy, and I mean it's hard to argue with a company that keeps me busy. I mean I probably wrestle as much as anybody who isn't making it their full-time 100% job. Um, I decided years ago, as much as I'd love the idea of wrestling on TV or in front of millions, I mean, that's a hard life. That's a hard life, if you want to have a family. I mean, I've got a wife, I got a baby on the way. That's a lot to put on the line to be gone 300+ days a year. I wouldn't say no to it, but I haven't actively pursued it as much as I could. I've done the evaluation in Waterloo just about every year. But I also started late. I mean, I was 27 when I started, and though if you look at the age of the guys coming into WWE, particularly at the NXT level, does get older, so do I.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I remember my first tryout, I think I was 32 years old, and they're like, if you're over 30 and under 6 feet tall, we don't want you.
Wow.
And now most of that's gone out the window, but it's hard to put on a resume. Hey, I'm 40. I got plenty of good years in me left.
So if you
just hire me.
But no, I love what I do. I decided a long time ago, if I never make it, that's fine. I want to get somebody else there.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That is fantastic. Emily Nicole, hello to you. Thanks for looking in. Thank you very much for peeking in and saying hello to us. Go ahead and give us a follow if you want to. Doesn't cost nothing. So you mentioned you had diverticulitis. Have you had any other major injuries that kind of slowed you down?
Let's see. Had my nose broken, had to have that surgically redone.
Okay, so how did that happen? I got to hear that story.
So, Rikishi ran a promotion. Him, Gangrel, his cousin Count Black Pearl, Territory League. Okay. And what the concept was really fucking cool is they had teams wrestling. So you'd have maybe a Las Vegas team and an LA team and a Denver team, whatever. And each team had like a luchador, a cruiserweight, a tag team, a heavyweight, women's match. And the goal would be the team that won the most matches. So it's not necessarily a traditional, like, hey, this guy's your face, this guy's your heel. It was home and away team.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, they came to Iowa, and it's the only time, like, anybody who's wrestled a name knows somebody paid that guy to be there, and you just got lucky. It's rare somebody's watching your tapes going, oh, I can't wait to get to Iowa and wrestle that Justin Decent. But that's what they did. They scoured tape and then reached out to promoters and say, hey, we really like this person, this person, this person. We'd like to use them on our show. So they did a show in Iowa City. They did 2 shows on 2 separate weekends. So there was a total of 4 shows.
Nice.
And I was in the tag team matches. And I wrestled Count Black Pearl and Jacob Fatu, current MLW heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. And it was like his second match ever.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So there's no like hanging out in the locker room. They have an MMA cage split in half up against the wall. Away team's in one, home team's in the other. You're out there the whole time cheering on your team. Doors open to let guys in and out for their matches. Brawls are happening. Refs are trying to push us back in the cages. So I'm second match on the card. We're not even 2 minutes in, and I just get blasted.
Oh, man.
Now, this is a Sunday. That Thursday, I'm supposed to get my engagement photos taken with my wife.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I go, fuck, she's going to kill me.
Oh, no.
And he just goes, huh? We have the match. The rest of the show goes on. I'm out there. Bartenders are chucking rags at me. I've got a faucet coming out of my face.
Oh, no.
Will not stop. Ring is on the trailer leaving the venue before things stop bleeding.
Oh, no.
I've been shot at, and I've never been as afraid as I was to make this phone call.
Oh, I can
Hey, sweetheart. We may have to move the date of our pictures. What the hell did you do? So I got my nose broke. Do you think you're gonna have black eyes? How fucking cool would it be if you had black eyes in our photos?
Are you kidding?
I wanted to stop and get her another ring.
Oh, my God. That is so awesome.
So did the pictures happen with black eyes and a broken nose?
No, I bled so much that I never got black eyes out of it.
Oh,
Wow.
But between that and, a couple times in the Army where I got it broke, I've had it broke 4 or 5 times. It had healed with cartilage completely on one side, so they had to go in and clear all that out. I sat out most of 2019. I had a fractured wrist that I was not aware of that never healed right. So the bone deteriorated and rotted. So I had to have that taken care of. And I was out for 8 months from wrestling.
Wow.
8 months is
there's something else. Oh, I tore my shoulder in 3 places.
just your average, just your average shoulder tear.
Another day at work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your wife, and she is. Does she go to every match with you at this point?
Nope. She's been around long enough. She'll go to the Des Moines shows because they're close. She doesn't go to most of the summer shows. I wouldn't want to fucking drag her around, sit in the heat all day anyway.
Yeah.
She will be at the Hall of Fame. She always goes to the Hall of Fame for sure. Especially this year, she's about ready to birth, so probably not going to very many shows. She's about,
I suppose.
yeah. I'm looking at her right now. She's big.
You see something flying at Justin right now on the screen. You know why?
Is the plan to have her give birth at the Hall of Fame?
It's gonna be a hand.
And then say, well, that would be beautiful because Mark Henry's going to be there. That's beautiful.
Then you have to go. You then have to go question Mark Henry and be like, wait a minute, bro. What's going on here?
I'm still trying to talk her into wearing a dress and just dropping a mannequin hand out at some point walking by him.
Oh, that's funny.
She's over there giving me the nod. That's why this woman is mine.
Here's what you got to do, though. Like, get that done somehow before me. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but possibly we're going to have him on our podcast that Friday at the Hall of Fame. So I would love to talk to him about it. Like, hey, so heard you met Justin Decent. How'd that go?
Oh, he's met me. Don't you worry. Okay, I promised you this one. Hopefully he doesn't get too mad and want to beat me up or anything. But so a few years ago, he was tagging with Malice.
Yep.
And I got his number from Malice. And it's like December. I start texting him. He doesn't have my number. I just start texting him. Hey, baby, when are you coming back to Iowa? Oh, I can't wait to see you again. Like, religiously, like maybe not every day, but 2 weeks never went by without me hitting him up. Oh, I can't wait till you come to Waterloo. I'm going to make you feel so good.
Oh, that's great.
Who are you? How do you not remember me? We had such a good time together.
Did he try to call at all?
No, he just would get these texts and be like, hey, who are you? What day of the show? Like, this is 7 months of buildup.
Oh, man.
and I'm hitting him up, and I'm like, oh, I miss you so much. Hey, baby, I'm in Waterloo. Where are you? I snap a picture of the venue, but I'm not in it. I'm here. I'm looking for you. Where are you? I can't wait to. He says, where are you? I can't wait to see you. I'm in the bar. Comes into the bar. I see him looking around. Oh, baby, you look so good in those pants. I love the design on your ass. he's looking like he's like, this person is in this room.
Oh my god.
I was like, where are you? Where are you at? What do you mean? I'm the tall brunette at the end of the bar. He looks, sees me, and I just go, hey!
Oh no.
Pure dejection covers his face. Puts his drink down. Pretty sure he set his phone down, walks out of the bar.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't remember, like, I think we wrestled that year, but beyond that, I don't know that we talked the whole weekend after that. Following year, he got a little sauced up. I'm helping him up to his room, and he finally addresses it. Do you remember when you... That was the funniest fucking thing ever done. Like, oh, thank God.
Was that the year he was on the? Maybe you weren't with us that night. This was like the first year I was there, where we ended up in like some little room, banquet room in the hotel, and he ended up on the table somehow with a sombrero on. I have a picture. It on my
sounds
phone.
like him every year. I mean,
well, you know what's going to be hilarious is especially
like he wrestled. He took down one of those inflatable dinosaurs one year. I think he was dressed like a ninja. Malice was dressed like Jesus, and they attacked a dinosaur.
I vaguely remember this for some reason. I think I definitely remember Malice as Jesus. Does he do that often?
He does do that often.
He's a good Jesus. Yeah, man. It's gonna be funny because like I remember the last time we were there. Me and Wes were going back to we were gonna go meet. I think you guys. Or maybe not you, but most of the IPW people at whatever bar it is where they do the karaoke. The one with like the records on it or whatever. I can never remember.
Oh yeah. I don't remember the name. I was drunk I'm always drunk by the time we get to that one, so I don't remember.
Right. So we're like walking down there. We're leaving the hotel bar, and I remember Jerry grabbing me and being like, "Hey, you make sure he stays out of trouble, okay? I'm counting on you, Ace. You make sure he's good tonight." And I'm just like, oh, man, come on. Come on, man. You know how hard it is to talk. Like, he'll do what he wants. Like, I can control him. And then like Wes knew he said it too. So then when he was like, he was actually not feeling great. He was like hurt. His body was hurting that night. And so we ended up just like going to the bar for it.
He wrestled me.
Right? Yeah, you beat him up good, man. You beat him up good. So we end up in the room and we're just hanging out. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to my room now and crash. Oh, come on, man. If you go now, I'm going to go to the bar. I was like, come on, man. Like, and then he's like, I'll tell my dad. Like, he was totally just like, dude, like just using it to hang out longer because he's like, I don't want to be alone, man. Hang out. Let's chill. And I'm just like, oh, come on, man. He's like, I'll tell my dad. You don't want my dad telling you that he's not happy with you. And I'm just like, dude, you're an ass, man. It'll be interesting this year, though, because, he's bringing the love of his life this year, which I was like, oh, so this means I actually am not going to be with you like 24/7 this year. Because that's usually what it is. Me and him just hang out the entire weekend doing our thing. And
man, I'll bring my stuff. I'll just marry him on the spot.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Without them knowing. If you could pull it off without them knowing. So where they just casually are like, oh, yeah, then I'll be like, I do. And then she's like, yeah, then I'll be like, I do. And then you can just pop up and be like, well, now it's official.
Fun fact, I actually did that to James Jeffries and Frankie J on the river when we were drunk tubing one time. Like, we pulled them over. We're like, hey, guess what? This is happening.
That's awesome. Did you marry, like, was that, because they did have, like, an actual wedding, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you do that?
They had a big Catholic wedding.
Okay.
I'm not a Catholic priest.
You couldn't talk him into that one? Come on,
No.
let me do it.
No, I have done the wedding for several wrestlers. I got another one coming up this summer. So, yeah, I've kind of become the guy to go to. If you're a wrestler, you're getting married, I get the phone call typically.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that'll be fun though. I'm very excited to just see how different Wes may be this year around with Red Velvet there. Kind of being
Right?
like, she runs the show. Like, I'm gonna just be honest. She runs the show. And he's very honest.
Probably
about
needs
that.
to.
Oh yeah, dude. I wouldn't piss her off, man. Her dad was like a boxer. Like, she'll knock your ass out. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So let's talk about Hall of Fame.
Let's do that.
Obviously one of the biggest weekends in professional wrestling in the Midwest, in Iowa, in Impact Pro Wrestling. You've been there for many, many of them. This is how, so it's funny because this whole Hall of Fame Waterloo weekend is how I got to know what Impact Pro Wrestling was. I had no clue about this promotion out of Iowa until my buddy's like, and I don't know if you're going to remember him, Tony O'Murray, I think was his last name. Big old dude.
I talk to him every once in a while.
Do you?
Usually
Okay.
he's drunk sending me Snapchats.
Nice. So, I'm going to tell you a funny story about Tony then.
I'll tell you an unpleasant one about him.
Oh, I love it. So, one of my good buddies from here where I'm at in Rochester, Minnesota, they're friends because they grew up in like Zumbrota together or something. So he was like, oh, my buddy, he does this, he trained, he wrestles with this place in Iowa, and they do this big Hall of Fame show, and they bring all these names in, like, we should go. So we went, and at the time I had this podcast called PBI Guys, and we like started kind of trying to be like, hey, let's interview everyone that's there. It's like, we'll do this. And then like kind of got to know TS and Troy, and then now it's snowballed to where today. But like, that's how I got to know who you guys were. And this weekend, now this weekend's become like, to be honest, I tell everybody this, I'm like, this Hall of Fame weekend in Waterloo to me is a way better time and more meaningful than when I was spending every year on my vacation in WrestleMania, wherever it was, following that thing down. And it's because it's a good show. It's a great thing. The museum and the actual building is great. And then you guys are it's such a great atmosphere those 2 days.
Dude, I live for those 2 days, man. It's an amazing experience every year. I mean, you have Hall of Famers surrounding the ring. You've got one of the biggest, hottest audiences you're going to have at an indie show. It's a huge venue. You don't have to worry about the ceilings. You've spent the whole year anticipating, building towards this, and it just grows every year. I mean, I remember the first year we did it, it was cool. I mean, it was fucking cool. But now, we have talent evaluations. Now we have the Hall of Fame Classic Tournament. Like, these are things that grew over the years of us doing it. Now we're bringing in more nationally known talent as opposed to, it's just another Iowa indie show. No, it's a countrywide event where we bring people in from everywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely, I from just when I started going until now, it's been like 6 of them now. And I've been like, wow, this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better and better. I didn't realize it. Zach was telling me at the show Saturday when we were talking about it that like you guys were actually used to do the wrestling show in the same little ballroom where the actual dinner is.
We did that 1 year.
Okay.
First year we did it was out where we usually do it.
Okay.
And then the second year we did it was up in that ballroom because there was like a Toddlers and Tiaras event going on.
Nice.
We got bumped from the main venue to the ballroom for Toddlers and Tiaras.
Oh, that's so great. You see, that's the great thing about that weekend, though. I remember, was it the year Flair was supposed to be there, didn't show.
Yep.
And then I think wasn't it Jerry went up and did the honors for him and like took the speech. And there was that quinceañera downstairs, and they were just like blasted. We could hear it upstairs, and Jerry just seamlessly was like, "Oh, Ric Flair's not here tonight." And all of a sudden, you just hear the music from downstairs, and he's like, "He's actually downstairs at that 16-year-old's quinceañera," and like it was just hilarious, perfect timing. But it is a very, like Zach said, better than WrestleMania. It's a special weekend. I've built so many friendships through that weekend with, the talent and the people who work for Impact Pro Wrestling, the Shotgun Radio guys. This will be a weird year I know for Zach for sure, just knowing that, Zigman, this will be the first time we're actually there without him. and that'll be a little weird. That's
yeah.
that dude's
There's always some people missed. Yeah, that's
yeah. It was a killer. We couldn't do it last year because now it's like, But man, is it special? And so let's get into some of your favorite any stories, memories you got from that weekend. Like I said, I want to tell you this Tony story, because I had only met him like a couple times before this weekend. We go down there, and so my nephew's with me, right? And there's a group of us, but he's underage. He's 18, 19 years old. So obviously we couldn't take him anywhere right down by the hotel and the venue because that's all 21 and up. So we find this little rinky-dink strip club out by the Waterloo Airport that I didn't know they had. And it's like
there's a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I've heard. So like Tony is with us. Never been to a strip club in his life at this point. We're taking him to his first one. I didn't know this till we were like in the parking lot, and because we're like walking in, and like the minute you open the front door, it just smelled just some gross, dirty stuff, and yeah, it definitely felt like we were maybe at like a dock by the sea, and like instantly I was just like, oh my god, and like we look at Tony and we're like, you are in for a treat. And you always hear these stories about the worst strip club I ever went to. There was a pregnant girl there. There was this. No lie. There was a girl sleeping in one of the booths for an hour, just out. And then there was a pregnant stripper. Legit, probably 7-8 months had to been, right? She comes out. We all are like, gonna get up and walk out. Time to have a smoke. Tony did not. He feels bad for the pregnant stripper, who he then puts a couple bucks out, and for like an entire 4-minute song, this pregnant stripper is just on him like a magnet, and we're all just like, and you can see he's doing like one of these like, I was just trying to be nice, and it's just something I'll never get out of my mind. I feel like we maybe ruined his life a little bit that night just because we're like, yeah, strip club, and then we get there like, this was awful. This was the worst place. This is the worst place I've ever been to. Like, what? You guys shouldn't like offer this business. This is gross. And this poor guy is just, and I know nothing about him at that point other than he's just a big son of a bitch. And man, I was like, I'm sorry, bro. And he was like, what? I was like, dude, this isn't like, this is gross. Like, go home and shower and disinfect. Like, don't touch anything.
So this story tells me that we need to do another one of these because I have club stories. I did a podcast with, it was me, Malice, Luke Raven, and Dustin Smothers, and it was the Rated R podcast. We would literally come to my house after a Des Moines show, go down to my basement, get drunk, and it was probably 80% me telling strip club stories.
Oh, that's great.
I lived a life, brother. But so little known. So Tony trained with us.
Yeah.
Back in Algona in our first actual school, and
was that called the Vault?
Yep. We have never changed the name, just the location.
Okay. So it's still okay.
So I love the kid to death. I think it's probably part of the reason he didn't get into wrestling as much as he could have. So we're training, and he took a back elbow and got his foot underneath him. Oof. Came down on his ankle, rotated 180 degrees. Uh-huh. Then, like, we were maybe a block and a half from the hospital. But I'm not going to try and carry this kid into my Chevy Malibu and try and cram him in there.
He's a big dude, JR, just so you know.
So we call up the hospital. We're like, hey, we need you to come get this kid. His ankle is fucking toast. It took 45 minutes for them to get there.
Oh no.
And then it was like the Keystone Cops. It was like Three Stooges showed up to help him out. Like, in the time, like, I got all the ropes off the ring to help them out. Like, and it's this old woman who's probably in her 60s
Oh no.
and could have lost a few pounds, checking in on him, and she is sitting on his ankle.
Oh my God.
And he is in shock so bad, like he just goes, "Excuse me, miss. Would it be too much to ask you don't sit on my ankle?"
Oh my
Just
God.
completely like just chill.
Oh no.
Yeah. So But-
So like that, because he also lived in Minnesota during those times, right? So he was doing like a 3 to 4 hour drive just to train, right?
Yep.
Man, and then he has a bad ankle after that. Oh, that'd be horrible. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
maybe see why I'd be like, I'm not gonna go down there as much anymore.
Yeah. Though he did get us a show in Pine Island at his high school.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I found out about it like the year after is when him and my buddy Casey were like, oh yeah, we did the show in Pine Island. I was there. It was great. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that?
That was one of the most memorable road trips I've ever been on. So let me lay this out for you. It's myself, TS Aggressors driving. I'm in the back seat. No, I'm shotgun. Then you got James. No. James is shotgun. That's right. Because I'm sitting next to my buddy David, who's in the middle. And David wrestled as a Supercedo kid for a while. Mask gimmick, lucha style. So you've got me, David, James, Trav. And we're pulling the trailer, and we're on our way. Weather is fucking garbage. It's icy. It's not great. We're cruising through this small town, and I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. But we're cruising through, and there's this fucking homeless dude, just sketchy as hell. And we have to come to a stop. We're at a stop sign, and he's like, "Hey, can I catch a ride?" I'm like, And James, being the nicest fucker I've ever known in my life, just reaches back, pops open the door, "Come on in!"
Oh my God.
Guy gets in, and all he's got, he's dirty, funky, but nice guy, actually. And he's got this brown paper bag, and gets in, chat a little bit. "Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, we're pro wrestlers. We're on our way up to a show. Oh, that's fucking cool. You know, where are you headed? Oh, just wherever the road takes me. You know, okay, cool. We'll take you up a ways. See what you think." So we're cruising, chatting a little bit, and all of a sudden, my buddy David looks over and goes, "Hey, man, it's in the bag. None of your fucking business."
Oh.
Fucking soup. Like, the mood was like, "Hey, not bad. Like, hey, maybe picking up hitchhikers isn't bad." To, "What the fuck was that?" It's just quiet for a full, like, 2 solid minutes of just. And James like, "Oh, hey, you got any family?" You know, just tries to lighten things up a bit. You know, everything's fine. Fucking, and we're all just kind of, okay, yeah, so that's fucking weird. Go on down the road a little ways, and fucking, my buddy fucking David won't let it go. He just goes, "No, seriously, man, what's in the fucking bag? None of your fucking business." And then this time, like, first time it was a little stern. This time, like, somebody might get stabbed. Quiet. Like, this time James didn't even try to jump in. It's just cruising by. We catch a light. Light turns. And next thing I know, David grabs the bag,
Oh no.
door handle, pops it, shoves this fucking dude out of the Tahoe. "Go, Trav, fucking go! Go!" Trav doesn't know what's going on. Hits the gas. So he's looking in the back, hoping the fucking trailer doesn't swing, wipe this fucking dude off the planet Earth. And we're cooking on down the road like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? David closes the door, just fucking clutching the bag, like, what the fuck? Weirdest fucking road trip ever.
What's in the bag?
None of your fucking business.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
Oh.
Oh my God. That was beautiful.
No,
That
actually, the
was.
drive up Pine Island was actually pretty uneventful.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. That was beautiful. And I should have seen it coming, but I didn't because you did such a fantastic job of painting that picture.
Okay, so we were talking about Hall of Fame. So a couple of years ago, maybe it was 2018.
Okay.
Might have been 2019. But we were after the show. We were hanging out. We all went up to Malice's room, and those people who don't know Malice, that dude brings like 18 bottles of whiskey with him to Waterloo.
Yeah, he does.
It is crazy.
Last time we were there, like they were sitting outside that like wood fire pizza joint next to the hotel.
Uh-huh.
And like literally, I'm just walking by, and he's like, "Hey, come try this Conor McGregor whiskey." And I'm like, "You're just drinking it out here in front of this place? Like they don't care?" He's like, "No, come try it. It's good." Okay.
So we're up there. We're getting sauced up. There's probably probably 8 to 12 of us up there, and Jason Prentice is up there, and he's doing a Troy impression that is pretty fucking good.
He knocked on my door and did it
all night.
Yep.
Like 3 separate times, a front desk comes up and like, "Hey, you guys need to fucking keep it down." Well, I guess the next day, this might have actually been the Thursday before the show.
Okay.
I think it was the Thursday night before the show. And then the next day, Troy's downstairs and gets confronted by Barbara Goodish, who is livid. Now, Bruiser Brody is like Troy's favorite wrestler ever. And here's his wife ripping him up one side and down the other for keeping her up all fucking night. "I know it was you. I heard your fucking voice." Just pissed.
Oh,
He's like,
no.
"I wasn't even on that floor."
Oh my God.
Oh.
Zach said the beer chugging contest he and Griggs had was great.
Yes.
I don't know if I remember that one. I do remember Jason knocking on my door that year, and I picked up, and he was just going total Troy mode, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Did I tell you, Justin, about the swingers? Did I tell you about that? Did I tell you that story?
Yeah, that's
From
why
the
I gave
last
you my phone number.
That's right. Well, I mean, you and Brian Blair would have been all in then because he was super interested too. I told you that, JR, too.
Yeah.
I think so. Really quick, like me, Wes, and Brian Blair were going to the elevators and just happened to be the 4 rooms next to Wes's room were these couples that were literally just leaving their doors open with the latch, and it was just a swingers group that were there for the night, and it literally like just leaving doors open while going at it, and it was an interesting thing. And like I said, Brian Blair's like, "Oh, come on, man, she's about to come. Let's go see it." And me and Wes are like, "We're going. We're gonna go. Have fun with that." And then some poor sap who is just a marked guy that's there for the weekend. You can tell, just a fan. And like he walked down and we're watching him, and he got to the room because it literally sounded like this girl was getting fucked in the hallway. Like it was loud enough that I was like, I'm right next to her. And he just stopped at the door, and you just see this kid just be like, and then he turned to us, and we're at the elevator.
Weekend, there are no rules in the loo.
Right? And then he turns to us at the elevator. He just looks at us all like, we're like, "Have fun, buddy." Dude, we go down there, and Wes is like, "Hey, I don't want to be like a narc or anything," but which is kind of funny for how rowdy that weekend usually gets. But he's like, I don't want to be like a tattletale or anything, but like, I think you got a swingers thing going on upstairs on my floor. And the front desk guy goes, and we come back, and Wes is like, "Did you check it out?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I had to walk in and actually tell him to stop for a minute so I can talk to them."
Oh.
It's a wonderful way. I was telling JR, anyone, because we had like Jackson King on, and while doing these last 2 shows, the last 2 months for you guys down in Des Moines, we've been talking with a lot of the talent and stuff, and obviously Hall of Fame's a big deal that I'll bring up with everybody because it's a very special weekend, and I'm excited to go back. We keep telling them, me and Zach, it's like you guys don't know though. You're walking into it this first time, JR, you include it, where it's like brand new upgraded hotel. The venue's updated. There's AC in the entire place probably
I won't
now.
know what to do with air conditioning on this weekend.
Right. I was like, you guys aren't going to know what it was like to go there when it was 100 degrees in the bar and it took an hour to get a drink because there was like one old lady working. God bless her. She just couldn't keep up. And it was 100 degrees in there with no air.
Yeah.
And just the craziness of that place, how it was. Because obviously I feel like there's going to be a different standard now that it's a Best Western and they redid it and put money into it. Like obviously we may have to tone it down, some of us, a little bit this year. But man, things, like you said, there's no rules. I remember when we the last one we went to, you said strip club. Me, Dustin Smothers, Wes, Brian Pillman Jr. and who was the cowboy guy? I don't know. I think he was either MLW at one point or maybe like Evolve or something. I can't remember his
Steve
name.
Manders?
No, young kid. Yeah, he's.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like he had some sort of Western thing with his get up. I can't remember. Anyways,
I collect concussions like kids collect Pokemon. I fucking can't remember nothing.
Stallion. There we go. Zach said it. The Stallion. Yeah. So we're all sitting there at whatever the one is right next to the Hall of Fame because there's two right in that area. So we're sitting there, and it's.
I mean, so I've heard.
Yep. I will say this. At least there was like because we went to the other one too, and it was like there was like no girls there. It was like where's the girls though, guys? Like. So we go to that one. We're hanging out. We get like a bottle. Everybody's having a good time. We go to leave. This night, like, Wes had some fun. He took off. He was feeling it. He was ready to go back to the room and go to bed. Stallion, the other dude with them, and Pillman are like, we're hungry. And it's like, all right, well, good luck finding food because it's like, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. These guys decide that they're going to walk to the Hardee's from that strip club. And I was just like, good luck to you guys. Like, have fun with that. The next day, dude, they were like, no one warned us. We got our food and ran because someone was yelling. And it was like, yeah, you guys can't walk around like that around here. Stay in the 3-block radius. You get off of that, things get different. Things get hairy.
Hayabusa 900 says used to be flirts.
Oh, flirts. Okay.
Oh, that might be what it is.
Flirts.
By the way, thanks for looking in there, Hayabusa.
Hayabusa. Yeah. So it's a pretty stacked show this year too. You guys are bringing some cool talent in for this year. You got Colt Cabana, I believe, is going to be there. Is Pillman? I don't know. I didn't see him on the last poster, so I didn't know if he was still coming. Heather Monroe, who JR and I got to see on Thursday up at First Wrestling, will be there. Well, if you don't know, you're gonna know, Justin. Awesome. And she's super excited because she's about to have her first match in Iowa. She's never actually wrestled in her home state. She will for Waterloo. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the poster. Yeah. And also shout out to Zach and Shotgun because I believe he did an interview with her tonight for a Hall of Fame preview podcast. So that'll be cool when that drops. And then who else is coming, man? I don't remember. Red Velvet. Red Velvet. Sorry. Don't punch me when you see me because I forgot that. And then, those are Mark Henry, Jerry Briscoe. Yep.
Wes
Slaughtered.
Briscoe, Ken Shamrock, Miranda Gordy, Bob Orton Jr.,
That's right.
Colt Cabana, Jeremy Wyatt, James Jeffries, Bryce Jordan,
Yep.
Mike Rotundo, Red Velvet, Heather Monroe, as previously mentioned, Baron Von Raschke, Barry Windham.
Is Barry
Brian Blair.
coming?
What?
Baron's coming? I guess I didn't realize that.
He's there most years.
He usually is. I didn't remember if he was there last time.
I'm just reading the poster. I'm not accountable for the accuracy of the poster.
Hey, card is always subject to change.
James J. Dillon,
Yes.
Tony Gurria,
Yep.
James Beard,
Thunderbolt.
yours
right?
truly,
Yeah.
Big Ace.
I mean, I'm not on that poster, but thank you.
I can put you on it.
And yeah, they just announced this week Tony Atlas is now an addition, and he will be there. And then also, I can't remember her name, Mike something or other. She used to do backstage stuff and some announcing, I think, for WWEF at the time. Is going to be there. Dan Gable's going to be there, I believe, as well. He usually comes through, right? So that'll be it's a great weekend. So anybody who's watching, if you want to, make sure you check it out. It is the George Tragu's Luthez Hall of Fame show. The Friday night actual show, IPW show, is Friday night, July 16th. There's a afternoon show, the tournament show. Of course, if you're all access, you can also go to that earlier show, which would be the actual, it's not really so much a show, but it's the evaluations, which I do want to ask you about that since you said you've done those before. And that is, what does go in there? Because I remember going the first time I ever went, we went to that evaluation, and it, obviously the matches are, being done in front of the guys who are evaluating you, but then they take you back. There's like some private stuff. Like, what does that all entail when you come to an evaluation like
that? So you get, hey, you get X amount of minutes. We want to see you put on the best match you can in that time frame. And then they take you in the back in a private little room, and they give you feedback like, hey, you need to work out more. Hey, you need to have more personality, or hey, you need to work out more. That one gets said a lot. Buy new gear. I remember distinctly Airwolf. I remember one year, like he did it. He was like 17 years old, does the evaluation, and they're like, you get him in there and he's got the mask off. You're like, you're a fucking good-looking kid. Ditch the mask. He's like, oh no, I don't know if I can do that. Sure enough, now he doesn't.
now there's no mask. You know what? I remember too. Maybe you'll remember who the wrestler was. I don't remember his name, Justin, but I remember he went up for a spot off the top turnbuckle. He was sitting on it. He was going to go off, and the hook for the buckle caught his trunks. So when he went off, it ripped his trunks.
It was one of those things. Like I actually use it as a training point. Like,
oh, nice.
The guy went to give him a suplex, and instead of, I want to get a hold of you. Like, I want to have your hip. I want to have you to be able to force you over where I need you to be. I'm not going to rely on your seamstress. But everybody wants to grab the tights or grab the trunks, and they just ripped him right off of his fucking body.
Yeah. And it was like his only trunks.
And he's just full cocking it.
Yep.
At that point, he's done. Like, just pin, done, go to the back. I believe the feedback was, get better made gear.
Yeah.
Be proud of what you've got.
I think he was in the battle royal that night, and he was like trying to find trunks from someone or something, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Oh man, I remember it happening though, and everybody who was in there was just like, "Oh my god, oh that is not good, oh poor guy, holy shit." Man, it's an interesting thing though going to those evaluations. I think is that an all access pass thing only? It used to be. Maybe they do sell tickets to it now. There it is.
I don't think they sell individual tickets to just that. I think it is kind of the all access deal.
Yeah. It's a lot of, and anybody who's, out there and trying to do this, like, it's definitely something worth going to do. Cause again, you're going to have some legendary names watching you and giving you feedback. So
it's like I tell all the trainees, as they're coming through the school, they ask me, hey, is it worth doing? What? To get feedback from the guys that can hire you to do the job you want? Yeah. Right. I mean, what's the worst they can tell you is what you need to work on to get to where you want to be. The best they can do is offer you the job you want.
Right.
It's crazy. So let me ask you this, Justin. In that evaluation, do you guys know ahead of time who you're going to be working with, or are you guys calling those matches on the fly?
It kind of depends. If you have somebody you can have a great match with, and you're like, hey, I want to reserve my spot with this person. We're going to make that happen. But there's been times I've gone and like, okay, who needs a body?
Okay.
I'm in. It just kind of depends on your comfort level. I find that the newer you are, the more apt you are to say, okay, I need to know who this person is. They need to know me.
Gotcha.
I know both James and I have been just kind of thrown in with whoever needed a body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, Zach said there's only 5 slots left. Anybody watching that may want to get into that. There's only 5 slots left, so make sure you do that. Our boy downtown, Petey Brown, did it, I think, one year.
Yep.
JR, that was the first year I ever met that guy. Yeah, he did it. He loved it. But yeah, man, dude,
and it's one of those things like, all the proceeds of that benefit the Hall of Fame. Like the guys who come and do the evaluation they come on their own dime. And then we contribute to the Hall of Fame Museum, the Dan Gable Museum, the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame. And if you get time between, say, the afternoon show and the evening show, go fucking check out the museum. It is pretty cool.
But do that right after the live Briscoe and Big A show at 3:00 Friday. During the Hall of Fame weekend.
I'm going to stand in the back of the room and just drop trowel.
And you know what?
If professional you can remain.
I was going to say, the thing is, like, we would probably get through it. Me and Wes would get through it because we'd see you and just be like, all right, let's just pretend he's not there. Okay, don't look.
I'm not easily ignored.
If we end up confirming Mark Henry, me and Troy got to talk further about it, but it sounds like that he'll be on it. I don't know what his reaction is. My guess is, though, Red would probably be like, what is up with the white boy in back with no pants on?
Maybe that's my opportunity to have my wife birth the hand.
Yes. There it is. That would be wonderful.
Either then, old school folks would probably say, well, at least he doesn't have that blow-up valet anymore.
One of my students over the last, he has diligently tried to create an angle on his own where he wants me to bring this back. Just Max Chill has been like actively pursuing this, calling me out on all social media platforms on a semi-regular basis. There was a campaign for a couple of months, like, where's Susie?
Oh my God.
We might have to get with Max Chill on this one and help him out and try to bring that one back.
That'd sure be a distraction in a tag championship match, wouldn't it?
Now, hopefully he's not watching, because I will confess to the final resting place of Susie.
Do you still have it?
I'm like, oh, she's doing mission work in Botswana or something. The reality is, I gave her a fucking Viking funeral. I shoved a beer into every orifice and floated her down the Des Moines River in hopes that somebody would see this body floating by and go to rescue her.
Some poor bastard in Knoxville's going to go, what the hell?
There's a woman out there. I got a beer.
That is great.
Well, early friend.
Hey, Billy. Billy J is with us. Good evening, sir.
He says hello.
Yeah, Billy.
It doesn't get official till Billy joins in.
For the longest time, I would stay. So our original vault location, and we ran shows out of it, had like this plywood half wall. Oh, power went off for a second.
Uh-oh.
That's how much power Billy J brings to this show. He shut off the power in my town.
Oh my gosh.
So I would stand behind that wall, and when they would introduce Billy J the first time, I would just yell over the wall, "Yeah, Billy!" And then my wife took it over and started doing it myself.
Oh, that is great. I'll tell you what, I met Billy back at the Hall of Fame years ago and always enjoyed him. He was great to watch in the ring as a ref, and he was always pleasant to talk to and be around. But man, he's been coming on our chat room here on Tuesdays, and I'll tell you what, Billy is throwing some fire in the chat room.
He kills it
out here, man.
He kills it.
He is absolutely dedicated. We had a show at Woodward Academy. At the time, it was Woodward Academy for Boys. It was a correctional school, which was an interesting show in and of itself. So Billy is on his way to the show, slides off the road, totals his fucking car, calls for a rental, Still makes the show and refs the entire show.
Wow.
What a badass.
What a stud.
Wow.
He said he's silent but deadly.
He says
Yeah,
that, but he has been lit on fire.
We're gonna have to hear more about that one from Billy then. Man, that is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I had something I was gonna ask you, and the Billy J talk completely just threw me off it. So, thanks, Billy. Glad you're here, buddy.
That's right. I got to leave you wanting more anyway, so I can get rebooked.
He said you punched him in the stomach, and he calls you a jerk now. Just so you know, because I don't know if you're seeing the chat room. So
I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations. Damn it,
So-
you two will confirm. Never mind. I did it.
Oh, that's good. So, what have you, being that you kind of helped with a lot of the like Facebook streaming and stuff during this last year and a half where shows weren't happening, you know?
Let me
and
rephrase. I was in attendance. My technological abilities, I wasn't very helpful. I'm handy. I installed the lighting.
hey, man, that's huge. That
It
is
is huge.
Ugh.
That is huge. But what was like? I don't know. Like, I mean, again, you're someone who's like, you know, a vet. You're 15 years. You've been around this. So when this all happened, and then it's just like everything just stops, and then this idea of, okay, we're gonna do these Facebook streams. You're working with a lot of this young talent. What are you telling them as far as like, hey, how are we gonna do this to make it still entertaining? There's no crowd here. We get this, but we still want to entertain people. So when this all is over and we bring them back, they're even more hungry to come and see you now live, because that's a hard sell, man. Because you guys have a lot of new talent that a lot of them are making their names on these streams.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird dynamic. Like that first show we had live, and even more so this most recent show. Like I talked him up in the back. I'm like, hey, you guys have spent a year and a half. Most of you have not had a live match or a live show. This is what you're fucking doing this for. You know, kind of like the Goonies, like, this is our time.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
not lying. I was back there. I got a boner.
Because, you know, and I know for me, when the WWE started running just empty arena, before they did the video screens and stuff, it was kind of rough to watch, you know. Not that they aren't talented performers, but just there's something about that energy produced by the people watching wrestling that is irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of is what makes pro wrestling work. So doing the Facebook Live stuff was a challenge from an instructive point of view, because you have people whose only viewpoint of wrestling is, hey, this is what I see on TV. And what you see on TV is different than how you do things on a live show, particularly a smaller venue show, particularly an indie show, because you don't have months of camera work and vignettes and storylines and spoon feeding things to people. You know, you have to be able to walk out the curtain, a nobody, in front of a bunch of people who've never seen wrestling, and make them love it. So then transitioning to, okay, we're going to try and do this in front of a camera, in front of whoever decides to log in that day, was an interesting dynamic that I kind of struggled with. It's cliche to say, but I'm old school. I need the people. I need to work the audience. I need that. We got to face the hard cam. We got our secondary over here. That was actually probably more challenging for me than some of the kids learning.
Yeah.
They kind of came into it that way, like, oh, that's just how this is done. It was weird.
Yeah, and like I said, you had just so many guys. I was backstage this last week when you gave that talk, and I mean, it was really good, man, for those kids, because it was like you're right, you're 100% right, and it's like, hey, everything you were doing during those streams, now you see it really on the crowd. Now you're going to see how it really affects them and what this really is all about.
Well,
And
that was kind of the payoff of the experiment. I mean, you do the Facebook Live stuff, and really, it's almost as much for the people doing it as it is for any of the fans. It was to give us an outlet, to kind of do our thing beyond just, all right, let's practice some more, let's do some more training. Let's at least feel like there's some sort of payoff to this. So you have all of these students and wrestlers who are just getting started, and you're like, did what you create take? Are the fans going to respond the way the other students and the other wrestlers who are sitting in the room with you, encouraging you, knowing what you want from them versus, oh, you have to work for it. Mm-hmm. Is it going to pay off the same? Did they buy into what we created on Facebook? Did whatever chance we created take? Is it worth it? And I think it worked out really well. And we did kind of have a test run pre-COVID. We did, I want to say 8 to 10 episodes of an IPW TV show on YouTube that were about 20 minutes long, give or take. Kind of a similar format. So we did get a test run at least of the concept.
Right.
But at that point, we were still running live shows. There was immediate payoff. Malice and I do a bar fight at the Collins Bar. Well, a week later, we're wrestling in the Forte, as opposed to, okay, Damian Saint and Cody Lee have a great match. Well, now 6 to 8 months later, they're in front of a Des Moines crowd.
Right.
Do they react the same? Do they remember these guys?
Yeah.
And I think it went fucking fantastic.
Yeah, definitely a success. That anniversary show at the Crowd Back, I had told other people this, like a week before that, I was at a show in the Twin Cities that was still socially distanced, still at a certain amount of capacity, so it wasn't a big crowd. And it was a different vibe, dude. It was quiet. I felt like I was watching wrestling in Japan because like everybody just sat and it was just like, yay! Sponsored by Bud Light. Everybody get that sponsorship. Justin needs
cash out of this.
Need to get that Bud Light trunks out and everything. He'll wear them. Yeah, and it was just weird. And then to go a week later to that anniversary show where the crowd was just crazy wild, having a blast, and it was just like JR was just you were geeking out. You were like, oh my god,
yeah,
man, that was great. I saw guys there I hadn't seen in 12 plus years. For me, one of the greatest moments of that, like, we won the tag titles, and that was fantastic. And I'm in the back with Ethan, who literally graduated high school the next week.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I'm like, I hope you understand how amazing this is. You graduate next week, and you're holding tag gold. You've wrestled in 4 or 5 states. Like, you're on your way up. But I also got the opportunity to wrestle my best friend growing up, the guy who helped me start wrestling, immediately wrestled one of the students in his first live events. That was a dynamic that was not lost on me. That was fucking amazing. That was probably up there with the win, to be honest with you.
So let me ask you this, because you've obviously had tag belts before. You've been an individual champion before. How did this one at that anniversary show compare to your other success?
I think it was a little validation. I mean, I had that wrist surgery. I was out 8 months. I was back in action, 2 shows. Boom, COVID hits. And I'm helping out the school. I'm starting to. They fucking call me dad. All right, I mean, this isn't salt and pepper. It's straight salt now. And I've got this kid who's 17, 18 years old, looking great, and hey, you're still in it, showcasing in front of guys who got me started, 15 plus years ago. I mean, realistically, you could say, my buddy Josh and his brothers, got me started when I was 12 years old. Realistically, it was kind of a cool coming around story where, I'm still in it. I'm still passing on knowledge. And I'm still showing everybody who saw me from the get-go that I ain't giving up.
Love it.
There you go. Yeah, Billy J is calling you Daddy Decent now. That's the man. You can spin it though. You can turn it into some whips and chain stuff. You're Daddy Decent.
Who said it isn't already?
And then you can bring Susie back.
See, here's the thing with that. Some people have to call themselves Daddy. They already know to call me Daddy.
Oh my God! Again, I'm all for this Max Chill bringing this back because I'd love to see a Susie on a pole match.
Ooh,
that's been done.
It's just, it'd be great. It'd be great.
It was such a nice little.
Make sure to come out and remind me. So, anybody who's met Mrs. Decent, she is a towering 4'10". And the first clothing that the doll wore to the ring was actually my wife's clothing.
Nice.
Actually, that's not true. Her second round of gear. First round of gear, you'll love this one. Okay, so I'm on my way to Muscatine, which is where my first match was. And at this point, Susie is dressed in a wife beater and basketball shorts. Now, there's an outlet mall in Williamsburg, Iowa. So I pull into the outlet mall. I window shop a little bit. I'm like, who's got the sluttiest clothes? This one. I go into the store, and this gal goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir. How can I help you today?" I'm going to ask you the weirdest question you're going to hear all day. "Oh, we don't have anything in your size, silly." I like you, but I can do better. Do you have any slutty clothes that'll fit a blow-up doll? Excuse me? You heard me. I need slutty-looking clothes to put on a blow-up doll. Oh. So do you want something new or clearance? Yes. So she actually works with me. We start going through the clothes. She goes, "Well, what size do you need?" I don't know. I tell you what, she's in the car. I'll be right back.
Oh, this is great.
I go to the car. I bring the blow-up doll in, fully inflated. And this gal is so fucking fantastic. We do like an 80s montage where she takes this thing into the closet, puts an outfit on, pops it back out. No. How about this? Not quite. How about this? Yes!
Oh my God.
With a pair of panties that said, "Daddy loves money."
Oh, that is great. Oh, that is great. My freaking face hurts from laughing too much on this show tonight.
I can just imagine in the story of Justin Decent's life, this is played out as she comes out with the music, and Justin has the face and is like, nah, it's just that one of those music montages, and he brings out Susie, and
Roy Orbison in the background. Yeah, fuck.
And Justin just shakes his head, and then she shrugs and goes. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
We'll have to someday, just for shits and giggles, we should do like a produced our version of the A&E biographies they're doing on all the wrestlers right now.
Oh my God, that'd be funny.
We'll do one for you, Justin, and like we'll have Susie doing interview segments on that show for you.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man. So referee Billy J says Susie has been on many polls. Dan says Yard full of dick, bucket full of balls, enough hair on my ass to weave an Indian blanket. Call me daddy. Billy
Hey.
J also said in reference to your story, Justin, he said you're the fourth guy that's come in here in the store asking for that today. And it looks like we got a raid going. Welcome, Balls.
Hey,
And
Balls.
everybody else that's going to jump in. And Zach is asking for a Susie shirt now.
So my very first promo pics, the best part was my now father-in-law took the photos.
Yes.
Where we got Susie dressed up in like a really nice white top and a fucking veil. And I bought a tuxedo t-shirt. We did like mock wedding photos in my father-in-law's living room.
Oh, this is great. You definitely found the right partner, and she definitely has the right family.
Yes.
To go along with you. Steel Toe Shoe.
Look at them all coming in now. Hey, everybody. Good to see all of you. Thanks for joining us.
Tampa Terry.
For those of you just coming in, we are talking with IPW current tag team champion, Justin Decent. He's been around the business a long time, and I don't mean that as a slight, because I've been around for a long time too, much longer. But the point is, thank you very much, Rudy, for the cheer. But we've been talking with him about many things, and he's got some of the greatest stories that you've ever heard, and you're going to want to watch this back, because just the story about his first valet, Susie, is enough to you're going to want to watch it. You're going to want to watch it. Hey, Tampa Terry Light, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it very, very much.
So what was the end of Susie? That's what I want to know. How did it end?
So it really just hit a point where I started tagging with Ugly. So you got Ugly Stick, Susie, and Ugly's wife is very attractive. So we had her coming to the ring with us as well as Sexy Lexi. So I'm like, okay, we've got a 2x4, an actual woman, and an inflatable woman. And our entrances were taking freaking 25 minutes. I'm like, something has to go. And I'd already purchased in my time with Susie 13 fucking blow-up dolls. I had a couple freebies. Like, I got a rewards point card for a romantic.
Yes.
And I would build up enough points to get free blow-up dolls. And because they get damaged in the ring, because it wouldn't just be walk me in the ring, set her there, do the thing, walk out. No, I'm dancing with her in the ring. She's giving suplexes. I did a match with James and Muscatine where she kicked the shit out of him. Bronco Busters for everybody. So inevitably, she get popped every once in a while. So fun fact, when you go to a porn shop to buy a blow-up doll, they don't let you open the box and inflate it and see if you like the figure or not. So sometimes I'd get some with reasonable breasts, and some I would get with fucking beach balls. And that was the line. With Troy and Travis, that was the line. You could have a fuck doll, but her tits can't be too big. So I would have to, if they were too big, I'd have to duct tape them down. So then I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. That's too much of a pain in the ass. Get me another one.
So realistically...
The funny part was, it was actually a couple years before I actually had to even cover the mouth. And that was only because I got tired of explaining to children, like, why she got that look on her face? She's just always really surprised. So I just took black tape and wrote censored, put it over her mouth. Like, why has she got that over her mouth? Oh, she's a potty mouth. She.
Oh my god, that's great.
That doll signed more autographs and got more photos with children than any IPW superstar ever. Fact.
Oh my god.
Parents would come up to me, can my kid get a picture with the doll?
Oh
You
my
know what
god.
this is, right? Because I ain't going on a fucking registry for this.
No. We end Justin Decent's A&E biography with, it took a turn for the worse.
So, but what you're telling me is realistically that Susie was just tossed aside, and if she did come back, she would probably have heat with you.
No, not at all. I told you before, she's doing missionary work in Lower Botswana.
Oh my god. I'm already putting this all together in my head. I'm putting all this together in my head. I think what JR and I have a call coming up with Troy either tomorrow or the next day, and I'm going to sneak this all in there and be like, hey, by the way, Troy, Justin was on the show, and man, I don't know what you got planned for him, but we got some ideas.
Susie's not a national talent that would be in the Hall of Fame, but she's definitely regionally known. And
you'd be amazed how many people still ask me.
Oh,
and I haven't used that doll since probably 2012.
Oh my god!
People still go, "Where's Susie? When is Susie coming back?"
I mean, just think though, like, if you brought it back,
if James misses a show, nobody asked me where James fucking Jeffries is. 10 years later, they'll ask me about the fuck doll.
Well, I was gonna say, like, first of all, like, you could get it where, like, hopefully fans would start bringing their own and writing Susie on her son just to show when you come out they all have their own.
Oh my god!
And then there you go, you're already selling your own Justin Decent doll.
So
I mean,
my storyline I pitched once was this: they make pregnant blow up dolls, so I wanted to get one.
Wait. That's
That's the thing. And then carry that around for a few months, and then get a midget blow up doll, and have a whole fucking family.
Oh my god!
I also got rejected where I'm like, I need to upgrade this thing. Can we do like a fundraiser show where we raise money for me to get a real doll?
Yes.
That didn't fly either.
Oh my god, that's just so funny.
Wow, I definitely came in to knowing what Impact Pro Wrestling is like after that, so I never got to enjoy this wonderful stuff of Susie. But man,
if you're not too critical of the less than stellar wrestling talent I brought to the table, there's matches on YouTube where I still have the doll.
Are they so if we want to search them, are they labeled Justin Decent with Susie?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Not with Susie. You'll know it when you see it.
Well, I just don't I just don't want to sort through any of your matches without Susie.
I tell you what, I'll spend a day or two. I'll go back. I'll start relabeling.
I mean, give the girl some credit. I mean, she was
She was the best 5 years of my life.
Oh my gosh.
And the worst 2 inches.
Oh my god,
That's great. Hayabusa says Flav versus Justin Decent is a classic.
That's on there. That was my first match, and it is on YouTube.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Do you ever go back and watch it from time to time just to
Yes.
remind yourself? Nice.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I know as a comic, one of the things that I don't do as much anymore is I don't watch other stand-ups. Like I don't watch their specials and stuff because I'm afraid that somehow something might seep in there and I might get accused of stealing something that's too similar. Do you? And you can speak for yourself and not necessarily the other guys. But do you watch like the current product to see, television product to see if there's anything that you can pick up or use or kind of personalize for your own stuff?
I do a little bit, but I prefer to watch older stuff.
Okay.
It is not uncommon. So, again, I'm gonna peel back the curtain a little bit. This wall this is a duplex. On the other side of this wall is James fucking Jeffries.
Oh, no kidding.
So we will get together and we'll watch 80s wrestling, 70s wrestling, maybe some 90s wrestling. That's what we enjoy. So I'll watch a lot of that and go, oh, I could bring that back more than I watch new stuff because My fucking old ass ain't doing no flips.
Oh yeah, yeah. So let me
None.
ask you: did you watch any of the NWA Power? Because to me, that was absolutely old. I mean, it's absolutely nostalgic in terms of the production.
I did enjoy NWA Power.
Yeah,
I haven't watched as much recently as I should, but
well, the
I feel
problem
like they're just getting back in it though.
yeah, the problem is that a lot of their talent got kind of shuffled around because of the pandemic, and they weren't producing stuff. Oh gosh, Jesse, hey buddy, I hope you had a happy birthday. By the way, Jesse Towler, one of our followers, his birthday over the weekend. I hope you had a good time, buddy, and I hope you enjoyed it. I did a video for him. I'm gonna start doing fake cameo shit.
I don't know if this is too much information or not, but I mean, Billy J apparently knows all, but he says that Justin said James Jeffries jizzes in his pants.
oh, I love you, Billy. Keep it up.
See, Billy.
Any minute now, James is gonna come storming through my door.
I would. Oh my god! If he came running in right now when we were reading Billy J's comments about him jizzing in his pants, I would. It would make me very happy. It'd be like, all right. Oh, that is great. So, wait, how long have you guys been neighbors?
Okay, so I moved into this house in 2012, and James moved in actually for a short while until he found another place, and then he's probably been over there 2014, 2015, maybe.
That's crazy.
So,
That's
a while. I mean, we comes over when I barbecue.
nice.
We wrestle out in the yard. We wrestle in the living room. We wrestle in the kitchen.
Nice. I mean, that's everyone around you guys is probably like, what's gonna?
He's a great fucking dude. I love that little fucker.
Yeah, I've said this before when we've had people through from Iowa that come on here, and I will say it again, and that is I've never met, and you proved it again by if that story would have been legit from Pine Island, you would have proved it for sure because I've always said that James Jeffries has got to be one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. Like literally just a nice person. Like I've never met
That's
someone.
why he works in that story, because if I tell you James Jeffries picked up a hitchhiker, everybody's going to go, yep, that's James.
Yes. I didn't bat an eye at it at all when you were like, well, James opens the door. I'm like, yeah, he would do it. He would do it. And he there. So Billy J is also saying that you lifted James up in a suplex in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street.
Yes. Okay. So we go to Vegas every now and then. Well, I only went the one time. I don't know why I'm including myself multiple times.
Was this the Cauliflower?
Cauliflower Alley Club, which is a fantastic event. You know, it's like a business conference with more booze and suplexes. It's crazy because you'll have like full on like, oh, there's an hour-long lecture on 70s wrestling from Jerry Briscoe in the fucking Sunshine Room. Okay. And then later there's an event called the Bologna Blowout where you eat bologna sandwiches and talk wrestling. I saw Greg the Hammer Valentine get so drunk he fell off a TGI Fridays bar stool onto a midget.
Yes.
So anytime we go to Vegas, it's mandatory. If you've ever been to Vegas, you have to go to Fremont Street at least once. Because Fremont is where the freaks play, and that's where Daddy lives. And James is a little sauced up. I'm plenty sauced. Because, so drinks in Vegas are a free-for-all. You can drink anywhere. You can drink in the middle of the street. You probably drink in church. But they're expensive. So before we went out, I've always had this tradition, and many guys who have been on shows with me have seen me do it. I wear cargo pants everywhere. It's the Army background. But I've learned you can hold a lot of beer in cargo pants.
True.
So rather than hit the bars, I'll hit the convenience store. I'll buy a case of beer and see how much I can fit in my fucking pants.
Nice.
So James buys a case of beer. I cram all of it in my fucking pants. He forgets I have the case of beer in my pants and keeps hitting the bars. Meanwhile, I'm drinking all of James's beer. So at random, I go, "Hey, James," boot, pick him up in a vertical suplex, and we're just walking up and down Fremont Street with him up there. Just, "Hey, how's it going? How you guys doing?"
Oh, that's great.
Until his fucking belt rips off of his pants. Oh, no. His button blew off. He had to go buy another belt.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's crazy. I've always, I remember one year Troy said, he was like, "Hey, if you ever want to go to Cauliflower, let us know. We always usually try to go like a big group." And I've never done it. I always wanted to go, but.
We were going to go in 2019, and then COVID said, "Fuck Cauliflower."
Right.
We had a huge group going. It was the first time I was going back in a while. It's fun. It's like a 2-day long wrestling show where just about every promotion that shows up brings a couple guys. There's the most shoot fucking battle royal I've ever been in my life. Like, guys feel their career is pivoting off that, and just I got thrown out of the ring by Chris Christopherson's son. Like,
oh wow,
that's a thing that happened.
Oh, Lord help me, Jesus.
That is great.
That was a Chris Christopherson reference, by the way, Ace, because you don't know any of his songs, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen.
Fucking Jody Christopherson is a big fucking dude.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go down to Double or Nothing next year in Vegas because that's my favorite. One of my favorite things is going to stuff like this because I'm all for any trip where it's just wrestling fans taking over a city.
Yes.
Because that's what Waterloo feels like too.
Yeah, it is.
Like we run.
Cauliflower Alley is that way too. I mean, it's not even just wrestling fans; it's wrestlers go and take over the city, and we're talking guys, old, Hall of Famers, guys who are on their last leg, to people who are just getting started. It's a fucking great atmosphere.
Yeah. I definitely want to check that out. That's what I love about Mania weeks. Like, I know people have gripes with WWE and the product and sometimes Mania itself. Right.
It's entertaining. You can watch it and enjoy it.
Right. But like my thing is just the week going and just going to even like Fan Access, the other stuff they do, the indie stuff, the WrestleCon stuff. Like New Orleans for WrestleMania 30 was probably the best trip I ever went on because literally everywhere you went in New Orleans downtown was just wrestling fans. Bourbon Street was only wrestling fans that week. And it's just something special about that because you literally everywhere you go, you just know you're friends with everyone. You know what I mean?
There's a town I wished I could have hit up that I missed my opportunity. So in 2005, I was getting ready for a deployment, and my buddies went to New Orleans, and I got stuck on what was called CQ. I got stuck riding a desk because when you're in the Army, somebody has to stay at the barracks over the weekend to make sure everybody doesn't light shit on fire, murder each other, the things that particularly, I was infantryman. We're grunts. That's all we did. Yeah. Break things, drink, fight or fuck. So somebody had to basically be the babysitter for the weekend. Then Hurricane Katrina hits.
Oh.
I was in Mississippi during Hurricane Katrina, locked in a World War II barracks with no bathroom for 3 days.
Oh,
that was
my
gross.
gosh.
60 dudes, pissing in bottles, shitting in bags. And when my opportunity came to go back to New Orleans, there was no New Orleans. I missed it by 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. Well, if they go back, you owe it to yourself to go.
I do. That's the second time I missed a trip to New Orleans. I was supposed to go for Mardi Gras one year. That was also the year I got all those speeding tickets, and that's where that money went as well.
And it all comes
actually in all reality. So the tickets took the money, but there was an incident that required me to do a couple days at the fine Story County facilities, and those were during Mardi Gras.
How's a lunch at the Story County Slam there?
I may have been a rambunctious youth.
You'll definitely if there's ever a wrestling thing going on in New Orleans and you ever interest going, let me know because I'll definitely plan another trip down there. I was actually talking with other people who were like, if they go there again or anything big goes there wrestling wise, we should go because that's just so much fun over there. Billy says,
always need an excuse to show off my boobs.
"Oh, right." It was so much fun. I don't even remember that. Minneapolis, Billy, it'll never happen. Minneapolis screwed themselves. We'll never get a Mania now. And Billy says he's only 3 hours from New Orleans, so Billy will get to meet us up there then.
Nice.
What else do you got, man? 15 years in this business, Justin. What other just memorable things stand out that? Because you got to look back at your career. I do on just everything I've done in life, especially as you get older. You just reflect when you have too much time on your hands at home, and it's like
sometimes it's almost too much. I've got so much to look back on. Like, God, there's a lot. I feel like I could write a book some days. I've got a jaw that doesn't work right because of Perry Saturn.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So now, does anybody know, by the way, is he still in the Midwest? He at one time was in Albert Lee. I think he married a girl and moved over there.
I think he's still up in that area because I saw a weird, just random Facebook post where some gal goes, "Hey, look, my daughter had a friend come over. It's Perry Saturn." And I don't know how it ended up on my Facebook feed, but I'm like, "Yep, that's Perry Saturn."
Oh man,
I remember talking. Nice guy.
Yeah, I remember talking.
I was working a tag match, and I had no idea he was even in the ring, and he gave me the worst crossface I've ever gotten in my life. And to this day, you probably see me do it 2 or 3 times so far. I have to pop my jaw back into place.
Oh God.
Oh, that's crazy. Was that at Hall of Fame?
No.
No, okay.
That was just a small bar show, and I feel like it was Toma, Wisconsin, or somewhere in that vicinity.
Good old Toma. That's awesome. Who else have you worked with that's people would consider big names?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who actually last time I saw him gave me shit for being old, which was weird. He made an appearance at our school, and I show up, and he's like, "Oh, hey, old man, you're looking fucking haggard." Thanks.
Oh man, I remember meeting him WrestleMania 28. We got escorted. We were drunk. It was the same day we were on that party bus, and I met that couple who got married by the fake Macho Man.
Nice.
They parked the bus outside the stadium out in Miami, and we're wasted, and I'm like, I don't want to walk. And there's these people from the parking lot attendants. They had that 8-person golf cart. So I just jokingly and very sarcastically told the security lady, "So where's our ride?" We were told to come over here, and we were going to get a ride to escort us into the arena. And she's just like, "What? Hang on." Again, drunk off my ass. This is just I looked at my friends and I was like, I made it very clear this was a joke, right? And they're like, "Yeah." Next thing you know, some dude comes rolling over and he's like, "Hop in, boys." And we're like, "What?" And as we're going, someone else is yelling at him, No. You got to go to the other lot. The WWE medics need to ride to the back. You need to go get them. And he's like, No. I was told these guys need to get to the gate. I'm taking them to the gate. And he drops us off literally in the gate. And it happened to be where all the friends and family were coming in and the legends for that night for Mania. So Hacksaw comes walking in and we're like, "Oh," and he comes over shaking our hand. Dude's got paws like a bear.
Dude, he's a fucking nice dude too.
Yeah.
So I remember he did a run of fair shows with us several years ago, and Nikki Free was driving him. And we're at a bar, and Hacksaw is dancing with every woman in the bar, and all the guys are getting pissed off. And that was his thing. It happened 3 times. Dance with every woman as much as he could until he looks around and all the dudes are ready to fucking fight, and it's like, "All right, Nikki, on to the next one."
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, that guy is crazy. I remember one of my favorite things was always when we'd end up at one of those clubs down by Waterloo, and the entire club would go into a Jerry chant when he'd have a girl in front of him. And Wes would be sitting next to me and he'd laugh at it. And I'm just looking at him I've been to a strip club with my dad, and it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I hated every minute of it. Like, how are you just cool with this entire room's just chanting your dad while 2 chicks are on him? Like, what is going on here, man? Like, he's just like, whatever, man. I'm like, all right. Cool. And, Jerry, he's just got a big old smile on his face. Just like,
See, for me, it would be the exact opposite. If I'm in a strip club with my dad, it's going to be uncomfortable for him, and I'm going to make sure of it.
Oh, man. Well, was he all right with Susie?
He just shook his head. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
So let me ask you this. And by the way, man, if you need to get out of here or anything, like I said, we don't ever have a hard time out for when we end this show. But if you ever need to hop out, just hop out. We're cool. But what I want to know is,
stop me. I have problems shutting my mouth.
That's fine, man. I mean, we can already tell you're going to be on many more of these with us. So
yes.
What I want to know is this: you had the thing with Susie, and you were coming out with her. You're doing what you're doing now. What are other characters, gimmick? What are other things you thought of that you were going to maybe try and they never came to fruition? You just didn't do it, for whatever reason. But what were some of these other ideas that you maybe had? Because I have a feeling you maybe had some.
I always thought it would be fun to do a sponsorship gimmick where you're almost like a fucking NASCAR, and you hit something like, boom! That suplex is brought to you by Johnny's Tires.
That's
you
hilarious.
Just sell parts of your gear, make extra money that way. Oh,
it's like
today's Spine Buster was brought to you by Sandy's Cupcake Factory.
Oh, that's great. It's like Ricky Bobby. He's like, I do love Big Newtons. Can't see out the windshield though. Oh, that would be great, dude. I would love it.
Dude, you can go through the whole. You go through the whole gamut. It's like you can give a pile driver, and it's for the chiropractor.
Exactly. I could do that. My wife works for our chiropractor.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go. Which
is a fucking perfect situation for a professional wrestler.
Right. Right. Oh, that's crazy.
So if you ever return to unethical methods in the ring, I have the perfect gimmick that I don't think anybody has ever done, and I've always thought of this my whole life. You become a 100% badass. You go into every match. Well, I know you already are, but you go into every match. You beat the living hell out of your opponent, and then just leave. You never win a match, yet because I beat the shit out of you, and I'm just tired of this shit, and leave. And the other guy wins on a count out, and you would then become, the whole thing culminates with you being the only person who's never won a match to get a championship title.
Nice.
There it is.
I like that.
But just but it's
like the idea of the really, really nice guy who wrestles a good solid match but maybe doesn't win, and his wife just belittles him all the way back every fucking time.
Yes.
You could be called Supercut.
I totally should have married AJ Spoon.
Oh my god, that would be great.
He could be called Supercuck.
I love it.
That would be so good.
Dude, we can come up with this shit all day.
Oh, that would be great. That would be the so what we should do, JR, is so Justin, before we were the 2 count, we did a year and a half of what was called the Masked Comedian X-Cast. And it was a gimmick that JR came up with where he and he can tell the story if he'd like, but he wore a lucha mask as a comedian. And so the show, he wore the mask, and it was just super uncomfortable every week. And it just got to the point where hey man, we're going to rebrand anyways and all this stuff. But we've always thrown the idea around about making maybe some, video bits involving this masked comedian. And I feel like we may have to do one in Iowa with you, because I feel like we could come up with some pretty good comic gold with that, and maybe some stuff you want to do.
Absolutely. I'm in for anything. Just check out my OnlyFans.
Yeah, you gotta. Do you want to plug that real quick? By the way, what are you like? $10 a month? Is it $25 a month? How much are you?
I pay you $5 a month just to watch.
Eee, that just became a little creepy.
We're just getting started.
No, I said just a little, just a little.
It is. I will say it's pretty comical. Not comical, and I get it, but it was just like I was a little taken back by how many like female wrestlers in the indie scene that I seen when the pandemic happened were like, well, I'm gonna do OnlyFans now for a while, guys. Come subscribe, and like would send stuff out on Twitter, and it was just like, that's I mean, that's a leap. That's not exactly what you're doing before, but okay.
You know what? I'm all for it. You know, if you're proud of it, show it off. If somebody's gonna fucking pay for it, take their motherfucking money.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the thing,
I have no negative thoughts for the gals doing that. I love those gals. I love strippers. I love everybody who's working it the way they have to. Fuck yeah.
More power to them.
Yeah. But the whole thing about it is that in the promotions that you guys are working in, the promotions that we're talking about, it's not like you can go and say, yeah, well, you're an independent contractor, just like right, and I can tell you as a comic, it was a pain in the ass to try to get any kind of help when the pandemic came, because you don't have a paycheck, you don't have, an employer that you work for. It's just like and it took literally months before people could figure that out. And you got to live, you got to put food on the table, you got to pay your rent, all that stuff.
If I could make money whipping my dick out, I would. All I got were charges.
See, it's the same thing. I worked with a comic, and he talks about how he didn't get circumcised until he was 23. And I'm like, dude, I'm very similar to you, except for I had it done young, but they took off way too much.
Oh, good old JR. Wait, did he really get it at 23? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, which is like
He did it himself. He sent away for a kid.
It's the old school kit from Robin Hood Men in Tights, the Mel Brooks movie with just a little.
Oh, I love that movie.
There you go.
Just a tip.
Oh my god.
Oh man. I don't even know, man. I've been laughing too much. My brain's starting to hurt. JR, you got anything else you wanted to ask?
Let me just ask you a couple, because let's talk again a little bit about IPW as a whole. You mentioned you mentioned how young Ethan Everhart is, your tag champion partner. We had just Jackson King on with us a couple of weeks ago. We know that he started very, very young. As a what's the youngest student that's come into the vault?
I feel like 17 is kind of our limit. I mean, Jimmy Wild was 17, Jackson King, Ethan. I mean, they might have been 16. I don't know, but I feel like 17 is kind of the limit.
Okay, and on the other and on
their parents signed the waiver.
Yep.
I mean, we've talked with their parents.
On the other side of the coin, what's the oldest that you've had come in?
I was 26 or 27. I think Ugly might have been 30. I think we've had a couple guys in their 30s.
Okay. You still have to be kind of athletic, though.
Yeah. I mean, we had a guy who trained as a ref. He might have been knocking on the door of 40, but that was... no, I think he was 40-something, like 42. But that was reffing. I mean, after a couple of weeks ago, I will never, ever, ever shit on reffing, and I never would have in the first place. That's a hard fucking job. But we did an hour and 6 minutes where AJ Smooth wrestled 15 fucking people.
Yeah.
And I reffed that thing. My fucking hand hurt for 5 days.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, I could only imagine. So let me ask you this: like, what is the difference between the people training to be a ref and people who are actually training to like compete? Is there any, or they just go through the same?
No, you don't. I don't think typically a referee doesn't need to know all the holds, moves, reversals. It is a different set of skills. You have to know the rules, how to be there and not be there. I'm working with somebody right now. It's you've got to be able to be authoritative and a ghost at the same time. Know when to fucking be in everybody's purview. Like, hey, this needs to stop, and then vanish, so that the crowd can really focus on what you're presenting them. Kind of like, people ask to say, oh, I want to be a manager. How do I train to be a manager? It's very different than wrestling. You don't necessarily need to know 8 different variations of an arm bar. You don't need to know everything, but you need to have a better grasp of the personality and psychological side of things.
I know you can't see the chat. Unique Perspective says, "What's up, Daddy?" I don't know if you know Unique Perspective is.
Me.
Daddy's up. Daddy is up. Billy J says, feel his pain.
Oh, that's great. So
Billy J is the fucking man. I've never seen anybody ref more matches than that guy. And
yeah, you're not kidding.
For those of you who don't know enough about wrestling, I mean, the referee has got to be one of the fucking hardest jobs on the card. I go out there, I'm out there, 8 minutes to, I think 48 minutes is my longest start to finish match that I can recall. Those guys are out there the entire fucking show because there's not a lot of indie shows where you have more than one ref. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. I mean, Billy J was out there doing all those fair shows all by his lonesome a lot of times. That dude's a stallion.
Yeah, definitely. And exciting news. We're gonna do something with Billy J on the 2 count while we're in Waterloo. We're gonna do a lot of stuff in Waterloo, hopefully, with a lot of you. That's the plan. Some will be on video, some will not.
I will bring the lube.
Don't forget Susie.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better be bringing Susie with that lube then. We're gonna. It's gonna turn into an
Susie,
can we top the swingers party that was there? Can we top it? I don't know.
Here's the thing: Susie doesn't come, nobody comes.
You know what you got to do though, Justin? They open the pool now, so you just got to bring Susie and just go hang out by the pool. Just
fuck yes. You looking at my girl?
Bro, you looking at my girl?
What's the problem, bro?
My girl says you've been eyeballing her.
She's gone tubing down the river. We pass by people like, what the fuck? Oh, I love it. I got a little heat for this once. So we were in Algona where the vault was, and Travis lives there, and so does Johnny Fitness. That's their hometown. And I took the doll and we went job hunting. Went fucking put in an application at Subway. We took her shopping at Hy-Vee. We sat out in front of the school in fucking lawn chairs.
Oh, that's great. That is great. I got to ask you about that real quick too, because I thought of it earlier. That was the one I forgot. And you mentioned Algona. Was that the first building they had, like brick and mortar, for the school?
So the way it went down was there was actually, it started out in in a lumber building where it was like a rental storage shed, and they would just set the ring up, wrestle, tear it down, hotter than fuck.
Oh yeah.
No climate control, and I was there a couple of times when I was hoping to start training, and then I armied up, did my deployment. I come back, and I was the first class at the vault.
Okay.
In the vault, the first time around was in what had been a mechanic shop, and that was the first true brick and mortar. This is an IPW property location. Okay. We were there for a couple of years, and then we moved downtown Algona, right on Main Street, in a storefront, and that was a great and terrible idea because right next door was a bar.
So
and,
my one and only time in Algona, I came down for one of the Halloween shows in that one on Main Street.
yes.
And my poor nephew, I think he thought we were going to maybe drive back home that night. That was the plan, but I didn't realize it was like 3 hours from where we were. So by the time we got there, and then yes, afterwards we all went to that bar next door. And about 4 shots later, I was like, and Antonio Murray was there again, and I'm telling him like, where are you staying? He's like, I got a hotel room at this. I'm like, I'm getting one too. And poor nephew had to just stay the night and going to unplanned because I was like, we're not going anywhere. I'm drunk now.
It was a lot of years before, like what we would do, like when I started training, and then even after that, when we had show days and stuff, it was probably a couple years in. We would go train on Saturday, train, get drunk, sleep in the ring, get up Sunday, train, and if it was a show day, same process: train, show, get fucking wasted, sleep it off in the ring, get up as a group, go to breakfast somewhere.
Oh,
it was probably 3 years in plus before I stopped sleeping in the ring after every show. Like my fucking wonderful wife was like, do we have to keep doing this?
Oh my God.
So JR, because you don't probably know, but like the storefront, like I was amazed when I first got there for the first show I ever went to there, and the only one because afterwards it was you guys moved. Like it was tiny. I hadn't been in a place that small where it literally was only one side of that room was where the fans sat. Then there was the ring, and then behind it was where you guys came out and all that. Like
there was barely enough room on either side of the ring. Like there was just enough room on one side to walk to the bathroom, which was behind the ring.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And then you're almost up against the wall on the other side. So yeah, we had one side, and then we had the locker room area was actually upstairs. We walked downstairs into the ring.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I remember that too because I remember that the bathroom isn't back, and I was like, I don't want to go while there's matches going on because it's gonna look weird that I'm just walking back there. But it was tiny, but it was fun. The atmosphere was fun because the crowd was into it. It was great. I had a blast.
So we had the 20th anniversary for IPW, last month, but we actually had a 20th anniversary a couple years before that because Travis is from Algona, and he had done some shows there prior to IPW even really forming. So I mean, we've been running in that town for over 20 years. So I mean, we had people raised on our wrestling in that town. Like, if there's ever like a situation where you feel like you're the home team in a sporting event, that was it for us. There are kids, I call them kids now, but they're in their 20s. Like, hey, I remember when you came to shows and you were still shitting your pants.
And now they're like, I remember when you came to a show with a blow up now.
And shit my pants. Oh, wait.
Hey, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Unique Perspective has a couple questions. First of all, did we all mourn the loss of the ugly stick? That's question one. And then the second one is, do we already talk about your 22 days of push-ups?
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect that one to be brought up. That's great. Do I mourn the ugly stick? Yes. Yeah, that was a great gimmick for him. Actually, a Hall of Fame moment. We were at the Hall of Fame show. It was the second year we did the Hall of Fame show. Myself, Ugly, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, tagged against AJ Smooth, Ryan Slade, Matty Starr as Team Canada. And obviously, Hacksaw, 2x4. Ugly, 2x4. Justin Decent went and stole one of Ugly's fucking paint stirrers. He turned into little baby Ugly sticks and whipped it out of my pants. Like, I'm in. Three Musketeers. Yeah, I feel like he probably cried a little. I mean, he's had that thing for, 14 years or something.
Wow.
That same stick.
Oh, man. That's rough.
The The 22 days
Yeah,
of
what's up
push-ups.
with that?
So,
Was this like a challenge?
last month, a couple months ago, so I've never been like super into social media challenges, but there was one that caught my attention as a veteran. So there was a 22 push-up challenge I've seen a lot of people do, and one of the wrestlers was doing it, and he pointed it out to me like, oh, cool. Well, the 22 push-up challenge was to raise awareness for veteran suicide. 22 veterans every day kill themselves. Making it a little somber now, but it's kind of important. So what I did, a lot of people just do 22 push-ups for 22 days. And I thought to myself, it's kind of a missed opportunity. So what I did is for 22 days, I made a video, not just of me doing the push-ups, but I spoke about my time in the military. I talked about veteran suicide. I talked about my own battles with mental health and thoughts of suicide. And all those videos are on YouTube. If you look at my channel, they're still up there. If you want to fucking traumatize yourself, day 13. My wife still punches me for that one. But I raised about $5,000
Nice.
for a nonprofit for veteran suicide.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
In fact, since we're on the topic, veteran suicide, buddy of mine. And now on to something better.
Yeah, this is. I don't know.
I think fellow comedian Jr. Ron Lampert was doing that as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was. Ron was, and yeah, and I think a lot of people, as you probably know, it was a lot more difficult for people during the pandemic and the lockdown.
Very much so. In fact, I'm talking with somebody right now. We're probably going to do another awareness program here shortly in the next couple months. Not just focused on veterans, but just in general suicide awareness and whatnot. I mean, I think that's something we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely.
On a personal level.
Let us know if we can help out with that at all. Anything you need, man.
Absolutely.
For sure, dude. That's JR and I know a thing or two about anxiety and depression. So like we we can definitely help out with that. I'm all for it. Man, it's just been such a hang on. I have to say Justin is a huge help to those, not just starting out, but also those in for some time. I'm still working on my bumps. Do I give away enough clues to figure out who I am? I am. So Unique is going to reveal themselves?
Oh boy.
Maybe. ... I've already been very open about how I don't know anyone on Twitch because I don't know anyone's username, so I'm always confused anyways.
Even if they write their name down, Ace doesn't know who it is.
Yeah, I'm horrible, dude. I've got the worst memory ever for someone who's never had like any concussions or head injuries. Like I don't remember shit. Like I have to look at my.
I remember this one night. So what's interesting about concussions is concussion protocol has changed drastically over the years. Side note: I'm actually also a certified personal trainer, so I had to take classes on this.
Okay.
And I remember when I was first getting started in wrestling, like the protocol was still like, oh, if you got a concussion, you can't sleep for 8 hours, you're gonna fucking die. Whereas now it's like, hey, go quiet, dark, secluded place, get some sleep. I remember I worked a match in Algona. It was a tag match. It was me, Ugly, and I only know this because I've watched it back. AJ Smooth in the big picture. And within the opening seconds, I get kicked in the skull so fucking hard. I'm fucking done. But I continue to wrestle and I don't know it. Like I'm in the. I distinctly remember I'm in the moment. I know what I'm doing, but I couldn't tell you what I already did. I couldn't tell you what I'm about to do. I'm just like right here. And then afterwards, I sat in a fucking folding chair and just like. So, in my concussed mindset, I'm like, okay, so I can't sleep for 8 hours. I know we're going to go to the bar. That'll eat up some time.
All right.
Oh my God.
To go with everybody to the bar. We shut the bar down. Then I didn't drink. I will like to say that I didn't drink.
All right.
And then commenced to make the poor decision. I drove myself and my, at the time, girlfriend, maybe fiance, back to our apartment in Ames, pull into the parking spot in our apartment and go, by the way, I have a really bad concussion. It's been 8 hours. I could probably sleep now. To this day, if I tap my skull, she will not believe I'm okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
I have ruined every opportunity I have had to tell her, like, oh, I'm good. You've said that before.
Oh my God.
Just
Which
played all your
unfortunately
cards.
wasn't great. I did a show in Algona a couple years ago where I busted myself open and didn't, like, there was no brain injury. I just caught myself just right. It bled real bad. I had to super glue it shut. And the guy doing the work, like super gluing my fucking head shut, grabs the first person walking by. Hey, I need you to hold a flashlight. Hey, it's my wife.
Oh God.
Good luck telling
Nice.
her I'm okay.
Nice. Oh no.
Ugh.
So whoever Unique Perspective is says they also said they were just correcting, so I guess they're not revealing who they are, because I don't know and you don't know, right, JR? And
I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure they say they randomly have Justin chop them to feel like one of the boys, and also they are former military. is what I'm
Okay, I
saying.
know who you are.
You know.
Okay.
And that's
I
all that
do.
matters.
That's
And I won't call you out.
there. It is. Yeah, we won't
That's-
reveal
Maybe
you
because
yet.
you want me to.
Build the suspense.
I'm not giving you the airtime, brother. This is my time.
I was gonna say, is it
Let me
Susie?
get out my golden shovel. I'm just gonna fucking bury it.
Is it Susie on her mission trip? Found our Twitch channel.
Oh,
I've done ring announcing and really bad commentary. It can't be that bad. I'm doing it now, so like, trust me, it can't be that bad. That's the one thing. So Justin, that's the one thing I've realized is in all the years I've watched wrestling, and again, my memory is so shot. I have got to desperately brush up on actual wrestling moves, because watching the matches and doing the commentary, there's a few times where I was like, I know what that is, but it is not coming to me in my head, and I'm going to sound like an idiot if I say the wrong thing. So I just kind of be like, "Oh wow, look at his face hit the mat." And it's just
I
like,
tell you what, talk to fucking James Jeffries. That dude is an encyclopedia of wrestling. He'll know every hold and move, which is why he's probably the fucking greatest trainer we could have.
right.
But on top of that, like, if you want to know who held the most obscure title in some random pissant territory in 1973, he will know who it is, where they went to college, what weight they wrestled at, who their third cousin is. Like, that dude knows everything about wrestling.
Yeah. So Jr., you're gonna have a few different people Hall of Fame weekend that you're gonna be able to just talk old school wrestling with.
That's awesome.
You're gonna enjoy it. And also, Unique Perspective said nope, and that you can just message them after. So we will not know who that is. JR, do you have anything else for Justin?
Boy, other than to let you know how much fun it was to watch you, not only at the 20th anniversary show, but at the show here this last weekend, and also how much fun I've had having you on and sharing some of the stories of a 15-year wrestling career. It's just been great.
Man, I love any opportunity to talk, particularly about me. It's my favorite topic.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm looking forward to that, guys. In about a month's time, we'll be in the same city for a weekend where we can make some memories together. And we'll also, like I said, we're hoping to do a bunch of stuff with a bunch of different of the IPW crew, which also includes you, my friend. So we'll do something, even if it's just come by the room for a little bit, and we'll just shoot the shit and put a camera on it.
Man, I plan on drinking enough that we don't have any memories.
There you go. There you go. I'm crossing fingers that by then my doctor will finally say I can have a few drinks by then. We'll see what he says by then. Right
What
now,
do doctors
right
know?
now I'm not allowed
Lots of
to.
people go to college for 7 years. It doesn't make them special.
Right. I do want to say this for you, just because Billy J put it out there, and I don't know if you're seeing any of these, so I feel like we got to read a good
I'm
one for you. Okay, so he says Justin is a great guy. I'm happy to call him a friend, a brother. Thanks for sharing the ring with me for the years. See you next month at the Hall of Fame.
Love you, Billy. I can't wait to see you again.
Yes, we're gonna, dude. It's gonna be fun down there in July. You got what do you want, man? You got like YouTube, social media, Twitter, Facebook. Put it all out there. Let people know.
I have all of the things, but the problem is I get kicked in the head so much. I'm not even sure I remember my handles. Find me on Facebook. I got a Twitter. I think I have an Instagram. I don't use it.
I'm the same way. I got one. I don't ever use it.
Twitter and Facebook. That's about it. I'm old.
Seriously, you guys.
Maybe I'll make a TikTok so all the kids know who I am.
look up Justin Decent.
This is my first Twitch, so now I'm a certified young person, right?
Now you're in the ballpark, baby.
I hope so, man. That's why we're doing it. Trying to feel young. Shit.
You guys, seriously though, look up Justin Decent. He is very easy to find on social media. But the main thing I want you to do is go look him up on YouTube and find the matches where he has Susie and like the shit out of him and make all sorts of comments about how Susie really made the fucking match.
Well, and also, I'm assuming a good chunk of those.
Somebody had to carry me all those years.
Right? I'm assuming a bunch of those are going to be Impact Pro Wrestling matches. Am I correct?
Oh, all of them.
So,
I think here's on YouTube at least.
I was going to say, here's the deal then, JR. I'm pretty sure Troy's going to give us permission if we wanted that. We can probably stream one on Twitch one time and have Justin come on, and we can actually do a watch along.
Hell yeah, we can.
Some of those matches. Right?
Oh
on
my
Twitch.
God!
I tell you what, I'll dig some up. I'll send you some links. You guys pick which one you like.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, we're gonna make that happen here.
I'm going to say hello to Sin for Balls. Thank you very much for the cheers. We appreciate it very, very much. Gosh, man. Well, we kept you for 3 hours, Justin.
I warned him. I said it'd be 2 to 3 hours, and he can dip whenever he wants.
I got to tell you, it sure didn't. Thank you very much, Billy. It sure didn't seem like 3 hours to me.
No, it went fairly quick, actually.
I mean, when you got family stories like, you know, taking Susie shopping, and I mean, that's, to me, these are the beautiful stories. You know, you hear, you know, you can watch Dark Side of the Ring, or you can watch these A&E biographies, but you don't get the stories where they're taking their blow up doll manager, valet, if you will, to the outlet mall to really get some good clothing.
That's Justin Decent and Susie. We're humanizing professional wrestling.
This is all anybody wants. They just want a little bit of heartfelt joy in their wrestling, and I think you do that.
Well, thank you. I do my best.
Look at it now. See, now we can't go yet.
Yeah, now
they started a hype train. Rudy, thank you, man. So hype train. So here's the thing: hype train, Justin, is when we get a certain amount of cheers, which means they give us the bits, which means that they have donated because they thought the show was really kick-ass, and they waited until the very last moment. And so now we're at. So we either go up to levels, level 5. But we're at level.
We're not allowed to leave.
We're not allowed to leave until the hype train is over. So right now we're here for another 4 minutes and 24 seconds, unless these bastards put more money in. And by the way, I do want to just remind you again, if you're a new sub, if you have not subbed, the 2-count magnet, we have more. Make your sub, and then send us a message on Twitch with your mailing address. Woohoo! There it is. Referee Billy J cheered again. Look at him. He wants us, but we're at level.
I don't want to sub, and I just want to dom.
Well, it's a little bit different show on a different night. But we do the same thing. Oh,
thanks, Balls.
Look at that. Balls just bumped us up to level 2, so we got another full 5 minutes. 5 minutes from now.
I'm just maybe I just need to keep dropping fetish comments.
It's working.
It seems to be working well. You know,
well, we got a few more minutes now, so let's do this. What's another good crazy story you got, Justin?
Oh, Jesus.
Let's go. You've got a bunch. I know you do.
So, okay. So I'm working a match. I can't remember the city. It's in Wisconsin. The event was called Butterfest. And
Nice. Yeah.
it's an
Sounds
outdoor event, and it's a non IPW event. But I took some people with me. So it's myself, James Jeffries, my wife, a buddy of mine who was going to ref that day, Keandra, and Frankie J in I think her first match.
Oh wow.
And we're cruising to Wisconsin. It's like a 5-hour trip. Air conditioner dies instantly. We're in a Dodge Durango that gets 3 gallons to the mile.
Oh,
We get there. We wrestle the show. I end up with a heavyweight title at this company, and all of a sudden, like I'm like, oh, cool, we're good. Good day. Let's pack up. Let's go. Guy comes back. Hey, the gal who paid for the show and owns this like beer tent thing says we're supposed to go till like 6 p.m. We started at noon.
oh shit!
And a lot of these guys on this show are new.
Yeah.
Like, very little to no experience. Not a lot of training yet. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So he throws a lot, the promoter throws a lot of these kids in a match. They go out and work another match. We do a mixed tag match. And then, finally it gets to the point where like, okay, I kind of take the title seriously in that not only are you a representation of the company, but you're kind of the spokesman of the locker room. So I finally just go, hey, guess what? We're fucking done. Battle Royal, and we're done. I don't care what time of day it is. I don't care how long she thinks she's going to go. It's 120 degrees. We're out in the sun. A lot of these guys aren't conditioned for this yet. That's all they're getting. No shit. We're in the Battle Royal. This kid gives me a club to the chest with his forearm, blows out his own ACL.
Wow.
Collapses right in front of me.
Oh my god.
To this day, I still talk to him. So every once in a while, I have to give him shit about that.
Oh my god.
How does he? I don't know. So
Fluke, just boom, knee went.
Kind of a
This is
fluke.
weird.
gosh, just
Kind
by
of a
throwing a
fluke.
club at that's crazy.
Ugh.
Okay, so let's do this. I think we should end, and we're not going to end right now because we're still in this hype train. But guys, if you keep the hype train going, someone was saying, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, but you do a pretty good Macho Man. So I'm just saying, like,
Ooh, yeah. Hold on.
Got to lubricate the pipes.
Caught me on a day my allergies have been fucking killing me. That's great.
god damn it.
Ooh, yeah. Big Ace. Let me tell you something, brother. The decent madness is like the entire Sahara Desert. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I hate to say it. I'm critiquing myself right now. This is not my best.
It's all right. It's all
My
right.
wife's in the bedroom yelling at me, this is terrible.
The fans are loving it though.
They're using we have a Macho Man emoji, and they're all throwing it up right
Yes.
now. They are all thrown out. I have to touch back because we've learned a lot about you just personally tonight.
This is like the entire Sahara Desert. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Meanwhile,
good.
Big Ace is just a cup of coffee in the big time. Yeah, cup of coffee, yeah. You know why I am the Macho Man? Yeah, because I say everything twice. I say Dig it!
Dude, his little subtle, just that
Yeah.
gets me every time.
Oh, God.
The thing I love is he always looks like he's on the verge of being attacked by somebody, no matter what.
Yeah,
Like,
he's always just.
it's like I've got my anxiety up here, but it's always like somebody is ready to jump in from behind, and nobody else knows it but him.
Right, exactly. Unique is asking what your favorite IPW bar is.
My favorite IPW bar would have had to have been the Mobius, because so we would do the party on show party Saturday, go to breakfast on Sunday. So we're at this breakfast. It was an old Happy Chef converted into just a local restaurant.
Dang, a Happy
in
Chef.
Algona. And we're in there, and the gal who's waiting the table is like, "Oh, I just bought the bar that's right over here. I'm going to call it the Mobius. It's going to be a dance club." Like, "Oh, you're going to love my dance moves." I don't give a shit about your dance moves. Like, just I kept trying to, like, hype it up and play around with her. She just shut me down nonstop. And then, no shit, like, we finally go there, and she loves me so much that she would find out when show days were. I'm a particular fan of Jell-O. I love Jell-O shots. She would make gigantic trays of Jell-O shots for me for free. Here, give them to whoever you want. You hated my dance moves. You told me so. I changed my mind.
Oh, that's great.
By the way,
guys,
I was gonna say just quick. By the way, those of you that contributed to that hype train, thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. I want to just say, Toxic Haze Dog, happy to have you here. You got to come to some of these IPW shows with us, Sammy, because you will love them.
Yeah, definitely.
Sammy's my nephew. He's my nephew. He lives down in Des Moines.
He lives in Des Moines?
Yeah. He was
Why haven't you been to a show?
Well, he was in
come grab you.
So he was in Sioux City this last week, doing some other stuff. And then when we went down to, well, he was. He's a young man with a big future, and that future includes coming to the next IPW show, which is June 18th, by the way, at the Forte Center, which is actually going to be kind of a big hot show, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean,
every show's a big hot show.
Well, no, but I mean, it's better than.
We have a certain somebody like, what's that guy's name? Maybe you know him. Do you know who he is?
Yeah. What? Who?
Right. What say rhymes with disco?
I was like, what do you keep saying? Are you saying Ryan? Like, there's no Ryan. Yeah. Which was funny too, because doing the commentary that night, like, I didn't know that was happening.
See, you're not as good of a friend as you thought. Maybe I'm more of a friend to him than you are.
Well, the funny thing is, so like Maddie was on commentary during some of that, and he kept kind of teasing me like, "Oh, have you figured out what I'm doing on July 18th yet?" And I'm like, "No, man, I don't know what you're doing." He's like, "You figured?" And then the whole thing with Jackson and him at the end of the night. So then he's like, "I told you," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, all right, cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know that. Wes hasn't said nothing to me." And he's like, "Yeah, oh, you're not his good friend." I guess kind of what you were just saying there. And I was like, "No, my guess is Wes probably doesn't even know." he probably just agreed. He probably doesn't actually. But I talked to him the next day, and he was like, "Yeah, I am doing that." And I was like, "Well, good. You got to pop." They were excited when Jackson said your name, so they're excited to see you in Iowa. And he's like, "Oh, really good. I'm happy to go back." So I love Wes. I mean, I love Wes to death, but it's the funny.
I wrestled Wes in that building. Like, he's a fun dude. I like Wes a lot.
One of the best compliments I ever got, and I will forever remember this, was Fozzy, Iowa City at Wildwood, July 14th. Dan will be there. Dan, that's such a hot weekend in Iowa. You should try to find a way to make it to either Waterloo after that or to the Sunday show on the 18th down in Des Moines, because it's going to be good times and we'll probably be at all that. So the best compliment I ever got was we had Jerry on the show, right, Justin? And we waited 2 years of doing Briscoe Big Ace before we brought Jerry on, and waited for him to not be with WWE before we brought him on. So we finally bring him on. We do the show. It was okay. Jerry had some major internet issues, so it was really choppy, and it was just like, and what, Wes, like, come on, Dad. But like at the end of the show, when we were like, all right, thanks, Jerry, and he's thanks, Dad, and that, Jerry's like, and I want to thank Ace. He's like, I watch your guys' show, and he's like, and I know damn well it ain't that guy sitting on the other side of this screen doing all the research for the people you keep bringing on to ask all these questions. And like Wes is just like, what? And I'm like, thanks, man. And he's like, I know he ain't doing it. That's all you, Ace. I was like, that's the best compliment I ever got. Hall of Famer just told me I do more research than his own kid. I love it. So,
nice.
Dude, yeah, they're fun. So, yeah, again, thank you, Justin. IPW, half of the IPW Tag Team Champions, joining us tonight. We will see you in July down in Waterloo and possibly Des Moines and hopefully a whole bunch more. But yeah, and thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. As always, we try to remember to tell people this, but don't hang up yet. Wait till we're like not actually live, and we'll talk to you for a second, Justin.
Oh, okay.
Awesome, you guys. And again, thanks to all of you for your support. In next Tuesday, I don't know do we have anybody scheduled before next Tuesday at this point? Do I don't even remember.
No, we haven't talked, but I mean, we'll probably do something this weekend.
We'll do something this weekend. I don't know what it is. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it very, very much. P Diddy Monster.
Maybe we'll see if Mello wants to do a late night.
Well, so here's the thing. There was a guy up here. I'm assuming that Justin doesn't know him because he's just been within the last like 5 years up here in Twin Cities. He started out as a stand-up. His name's Ricky Norin. He's the Renaissance Ricky Norin. He's actually been doing some stuff locally, working with Petey Brown, and also he's been doing some of the death matches too, which is kind of scary to me. But he's starting a podcast as well, and as indicated, he'd be interested to come in and talk to people about it. So maybe we'll see if we can't get him on if he's not booked for something else this weekend. But I do know on Tuesday next week, we have Patrick Strait, who is the author of Funny Minnesota, all about how the stand-up community started here back in the 70s with Louis Anderson and Scott Hansen and Bill Bauer and a bunch of those guys. So he'll be on to talk with us. And the funny thing about him, and the reason we're having him on with us, that I found out from him, is that he, when he lived in Michigan, was trained by Truth Martini and actually worked on the Indies for about a year and a half. So this will be a really interesting perspective from him. So we're excited to have that, and I know we've got other people lined up. Are we going to try to get Troy on? Probably not till after Troy Peterson. We'll probably have Troy Peterson on after the Hall of Fame, simply because he's going to be just too busy, I would assume.
Yes,
we have quite the list of. We still have to get Frankie J and James Jeffries on. Death Dealer, is going to be coming on here pretty quick.
Just knock on the door and say he's ready to go.
Yeah, okay. Just bang on the wall and let them know we're ready.
No, we don't bang on the wall. We woo to the wall to let them know it's time to get rowdy. If I hear the woo, I know they've got the beer.
There you go. Beautiful. I love it. But anyway, that's kind of what our schedule is. Keep watching. Keep give us a follow if you're just in here new. You'll know what we're doing. And we're going to try to continue to bring on IPW stars. We're going to see how many MIW or MAW stars we can get out of the Twin Cities. And we're hopefully going to get Eric Cannon from First Wrestling, who actually was on AEW Dark Elevation the other night, made his debut on AEW. We're going to see if we can't get him on. So stay with us. Follow us for free. And otherwise, we'll see you sometime this weekend. Justin Decent, thank you so much again.
Thank you, guys. I had a blast.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye.